But what we need to reassure a couple points. To all ICE officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. And anybody who lays a hand on you or tries to stop you or tries to obstruct you is committing a felony. You have immunity to perform your duties, and no one, no city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator or domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligations and duties. And the Department of Justice has made clear that if officials cross that line into obstruction, into criminal conspiracy against the United States or against ICE officers, then they will face justice.
It's the Homeless Left with Matt Weinglass and co-host Jay Scott. Episode 159, Battlefield Earth. And an all-new top censored news of the week. And here's your host, Matt Weinglass.
Here we go. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, one and all, to the Homeless Left. I'm your host, Matt Weinglass. We have a great show for you on this lovely Thursday. We're calling the show Battlefield Earth. That's reference to an old, horrible film from the early 2000s, which we seem to be living in. Not that particular film, but just the concept that this is a pretty bad movie playing out. Being a fly on the wall in the writer's room when they put this together, yeah, that would have been interesting enough. But yeah, where do they come up with this crap? Well, maybe the fact is you can't write this shit. You can't write it. But here we are. We're living in a multi World War 3, 4, 5, 6, all combined. We're going to do a World War 3 watch for you guys today. You know, that's kind of one of our staples. Just keeping tabs on all the different balls we're juggling. This particular administration is being loud about it. But this seems to have been always the playbook of the empire that we find ourselves in right here. This is the empire. We're living in it, and we're seeing the destruction and the results of that unsustainable system of American capitalism. But it's this U.S. imperialism, U.S. empire that refuses to quit. The only way we can even survive is by terrorizing the rest of the world. And now we're living through the later stages. This is where we start terrorizing ourselves in the loudest possible way. And we'll be getting more into that on the show. You guys know we've been covering the ICE raids, which has now led to total chaos in the streets, particularly in Minneapolis. So we'll get back to some of that soon. But as you guys know, we also have massive conflict going on in the Middle East, about to wage war with Iran. That's been on the docket for a while. We have the EU countries. We got European countries pushing back against the U.S. empire, which is interesting because as being part of NATO, it doesn't seem NATO is sustainable either. That might be a silver lining in the deal, but make no mistake, this Greenland situation, this has gotten completely out of control. And well, we'll get into more of that later in the show. So along with that, we're going to be still looking at the pushback resistance from the Venezuelans, particularly in Caracas, and the protests going on there. We also have a little look we're going to be doing in the medical freedom movement community. We're going to look at the life and death of Scott Adams. That's later on in the show, so we'll get to that later. And I just want to say, look, everyone in this community, we've been very grateful for your support and your help and getting us to this place. We're at a 1 year mark on YouTube right now. Our channel is, I guess, we're hoping to get to 4,000 to 5,000 soon as far as subscribers, but we've only been on a year since they destroyed our original channel got terminated. So this is our second stab at it. We've made it a year, so we want to thank you guys for that. And just to throw that up on the screen here, in case you don't know, it's THL Presents. Obviously, the Homeless Left on YouTube doesn't exist anymore, and that's because we're told we're not allowed to have these conversations. That's the idea. So we're fighting not just a war machine, not just a misinformation campaign by the media propaganda machine, not just the big pharma takeover, and the advertisers, the promoters of these top-down policies, profit over people policies. So it's not all that. We're also fighting the censorship, where we're not allowed to even talk about it. We're not allowed to even have critique on our insanity, our policies that make no sense. We are not allowed to critique the two-party duopoly. You got to stay in your tribe, right? That's the only thing you're allowed to do, really, is just to blame everything on Trump, and then you're good. But when you start calling out the entire system, that's not good for them, and that's when you get punished. So, and we're not just talking about channels being terminated. We're talking about people's lives being destroyed. Prosecutions of crimes. It's a crime. Free speech is now a crime. And as we've seen, protest, the right to protest, is now a crime. But we saw the writing on the wall. We saw this coming a long, long time ago. The super data computer is a real thing. Digital ID is a real thing. So, we'll just keep yelling about it and screaming about it as long as we're able to get on these platforms. At least Rumble doesn't kick us off. They certainly surveillance the crap out of us. That's for sure. It's definitely a mechanism of the surveillance state. And we know that all of our conversations are being recorded. Just so you know, you don't have to agree to it, but you're being recorded right now, listening to us. So there's that. But thank you, Rumble, for not pulling the plug, as they say, as YouTube likes to do. So that's a good thing, I suppose. But we stand behind all our words. We stand 100% behind our convictions. We are 100% principled. It means we apply the same method of, I guess you would say, moral compass, regardless of where it's coming from, left, right, up, down, doesn't matter. We apply the same compass to gauge right and wrong, justice or no justice, the powerful suppressing the powerless. It doesn't matter who people voted for, what color they are, what color their party is. It doesn't matter. We apply the same thing to each thing, and that makes it actually easier if you are able to do that. It actually makes it easier for you in the long run. It's hard in the moment because you got people on all sides will cancel you. They'll say, hey, you're working for the other side. So we know that game, but be consistent. And at the end of the day, you won't have to go back and cover your tracks. That's the thing we never have to do here at the Homeless Left. We never have to cover our tracks. You guys can screen grab, you can clip, you can pull out anything from the last year on YouTube, the last 3, we're heading on 3 years on Rumble. That's good. Good news that we're heading to the 3rd year mark. You can pull anything you want. We don't care. In fact, you can go back to any of our episodes. We have entire episodes, all raw, the way they aired. I think we're 158. This is our 158th episode. All of them are on Rumble. Go check them out. We stand behind everything. We evolve. Our opinions can change based on new information, based on new discoveries, but we still stand behind the process we went through to get to that place and to get to where we are now and to get to where we're going in the future, because who knows what else we're going to uncover this year, this calendar year of 2026. This could be a very interesting year all around. The fast track of things the way they're going. It's hard to keep up sometimes. We're going to keep trying to do the 2 episodes a week with you guys. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're here noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and we go all throughout the afternoon. We'll just try to be a little more, I guess you could say a little more stubborn about our cutoff time. We don't like going over 4 hours. Oh, did Matt just say 4 hours? Yeah, I did say 4 hours. You guys know we go, that's kind of the meter that we had a good show, got to the 4 hour mark. 3.5, that's also pretty cool. So somewhere in there, that's kind of what we're aiming for. So we'll be with you guys all afternoon. If you missed anything, you can always go back and watch the replay. You can also pick up a segment, pick up any segment that you relate to personally, and you want to start a conversation with somebody in your life, somebody that you fell off from, there was some fallout of some sort, or you think that you can push a conversation forward by supplying more information about a particular topic. That's what we like to do, is give you guys those tools, give you guys ammunition. It's not for battle, it's ammunition for engagement, which should lead to conversation, listening, and ultimately not winning a debate. Well, you could win a debate. That's actually pretty cool when that happens, but that's not the goal. The goal is going for understanding. It's not about winning and losing. It's about going for understanding. If we can do that, if we can strive for understanding, we will be much better off. Not just our peace of mind and our societal, like that tension, that insanity that you guys remember from the last election from November of 2024. You guys remember the insanity in the air. We can get away from that if we all just take a breath and understand we're all coming from an honest place, at least attempted to be honest when we're on this level. The dishonesty comes from the above. It comes from the top down. So we will be able to align better when we recognize our similarities. It's the last thing they want. They don't want us recognizing our similarities. They want to keep us at each other's throats. But we can push back by going for understanding, aligning with our fellow human being, our fellow populist-minded person that's ready to get out of the tribal mind, get into the critical thinking arena. Our community, the homeless left. We happen to be homeless from the left. You could be homeless from anywhere, from the up, right, down, upside down, backwards, frontwards. It don't matter. We're all homeless together, but we're not tribal. That's the thing. Quick announcement before we get on with the show here. I got to say, yeah, we've been teaming up and helping out. I guess our friend Craig Pasa has been dealing with a close friend's death. It was suddenly, unexpectedly. We don't know what happened, but we know what it's not. That we can say we know what it's not. As you guys know, that's our kind of our go-to here. When he gets back, he may want to share more about that story, but we step up and help each other out in this space. So all the interviews that Craig Pasa had lined up, we were trying to pick up the slack. We had, Don DeBar stepped up, Fiorella, myself. We've been doing some of the interviews on his channel, Pasa to Go. It's been really censored lately. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Pasa to Go, please do that. Jamie Cheeselice has been awesome on the ones and twos behind the scenes, helping getting it all together. There's one that was supposed to be today. We didn't get it done, but Jose Vega, we're going to try and reschedule that, get that one done. So you guys know, you can go check out one where he did an interview with Brooke Jackson, medical freedom movement fighter. Did that on the Pasa to Go channel yesterday. Go check it out if you didn't know. But again, just give some engagement on the Pasa to Go channel, because we're all dealing with censorship. We're all dealing with shadow banning. We could use your help. So thank you guys for all that. And then just throwing this out now, so because I forget to say it later, but our friends over at TLAV, that's the Last American Vagabond. You guys know them. You know Ryan Christian. You know Derek Bros. These guys are doing a fundraiser for their channel. They're doing a pretty much everybody come in and have a good time together tomorrow. It's going to be going all afternoon Central Time. Pacific, it starts at 10 a.m. I'll be popping in, hanging out with these guys. So you guys are welcome to check in on the TLAV network, the Last American Vagabond. That's going to be tomorrow. It starts at 10 Pacific, 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, going all afternoon. And then you can catch me on Garland Nixon tomorrow at 1:30 Pacific. We got a little conversation set up too. So go follow Garland Nixon as well. So I just want to get those plugs out first. And then today we will be bringing in Nurse Leslie, doing some talking back with you guys. So you guys know how to engage with us, that we will respond to your comments live on the show during talking back. So that's happening as well. We also have a new video, a new AI video dropped from Jake GTV. We'll be playing some of that later in the show as well. Thanks to Citizen Pendejo for sending us the link. We will be getting to that later as well. And of course, Jay Scott, you know him, you love him. He'll be coming on, I believe, at the top of the hour. So we're going to do something first here with you guys to get ready for that. So let's go ahead. You know what? We do like to start the show. I had something left over from yesterday on Real Fake News, which was really, really important. But we'll go ahead, since we had a little late start, we'll go ahead and bump that after Jay. And we're going to do what we always do on Thursdays, guys. You know how we start the show. Let me do this. Hold on one second, guys. I just got to reset stuff here. And I think we're good. Yeah, you guys know what we like to do to start off Thursdays. It's called Top Censored News. of the week. I will go ahead and lock this in, and we'll get started here. Make sure everything's set up very nice. And thank you guys. Don't forget, hit the like, all that stuff. Help us fight the censorship industrial complex. And you guys can do that. You guys are really do help us with that when you like and subscribe and share and do all that stuff. It really does help. And obviously throw in some comments, and that also helps us as well. Okay. I think we are good for top censor news of the week. Let's go ahead. Here we go. All right. Good. Here we go. And we'll clip it right here, guys. We'll clip it right here. Okay. Here we go, guys. It's time for top censor news of the week. Let's do it. Uncanceled Comedy Collective presents Top Censored News of the Week. It's Top Censored News of the Week. We're bringing you the stories the mainstream media just refuses to cover. If they do cover them, they always do it in a very dishonest or sloppy way. And it's always on purpose. Okay. We're going to count down the top 3 stories right now. These are the ones they don't talk about on mainstream. And it's not an accident. It's on purpose. So coming in at number 3, Israel's Project Esther dropped $900,000 on U.S. right-wing influencers in 2025 to push Israel propaganda. Now, the 2026 budget sits at $3 million, and that's going to continue throughout the years ahead. This has, I don't want to say leaked, but it had been ignored by the mainstream, and luckily, some people picked it up here in our space, and we're able to give you guys the firsthand info account on this. And you guys have been following our show, know about this relationship, the $7,000 relationship that Netanyahu has had with influencers. But this has been locked in to continue and to get even worse. Here is from AF Post. Israel quietly paid influencers on the American right $900,000 to peddle pro-Israel talking points in 2025, and plans to increase the spending to $250 a month or $3 million annually. That's going to go into this year. They're starting that right now. Now the money comes from an initiative, they call it Project Esther, and has the aim of swaying public opinion to a more pro-Israel position with help of American influencers. We have to fight back. How can we fight back? Our influencers. That's what Netanyahu said in a recent video. Let's hear a little quick breakdown on this from Stu Peters. We haven't checked in with him in a little bit. Let's see what Stu has to say about this.
That was below this tweet. Yeah, there it is. Look at that little rat-faced demon. Now go lie to your people. Here's your shekels. Take this check. 7,000 for you, 7,000 for you, 7,000 for you, 7,000 for you. Put the picture back up on the screen. If they're going to show their faces, I want people to see it. Now go lie to your people. Get out of here. Take this check and go lie to your people. Go start influencing your people. Get back on your social media platforms and influence these people to follow you as you lead them, as you drag them down the path to complete and total destruction and national annihilation. If the things that these people were doing were morally upright, and largely, globally, people supported their efforts, they wouldn't have to pay anybody. But if these people won't follow you willingly down that path, browbeat them, shame them, dox them, trash them, gaslight them, slander them, defame them, drag their names through the mud, attach labels to them, discredit them, lie about them.
He's going a little far with the lie about them. You don't actually have to lie about them still. You don't have to. You can just expose them. I think that's the key. It's expose them. Expose them, Stu. Just say that. Just say that. That's fine. I think I remember why we don't check in with Stu Peters too often. He's right on the money a lot of the times, of course, when it comes to Israel, but sometimes he goes a little far. We actually don't need to lie about them. So I'm correcting him on that one. We don't need to lie about them, but we can. We call this exposing, right? So this is how you expose these people. Just by all you got to do is just share out the list. These are the top ones that sat around, that were in that picture. Actually, let me put the picture back up. There it is. These are the influencers. And he's right. They want to show their face. Let's show everyone who they are. The main one that comes up a lot is Emily Austin. She's the first one on there. The guy on the other side, Javier. I won't even try his last name. Those two, there's a very one that went viral, the two of them walking down the street pretending to drink a whatever kind of health drink, and why they're trying to rag on Palestinian protesters, and they do it in a very obnoxious woke way. This word woke, it's very strange because I think they're trying to, I don't know who it's for. I think they're not actually good at doing this. This is the problem. They're not that good. Yet Israel's willing to spend more money on them, even though they're not really good at doing it. At least not in our camp. I mean, we're able to call it out. So it's so easy to find this out. You don't even need this list, but just so you guys see some of these other ones that are on here. The number 7,000 was the one that the going rate per tweet, per video, per TikTok. So all of them have been part of that this whole time. But I think the big news here is that this is going to continue. And it's going to continue not just in, this year, it's going to continue indefinitely. And the reason is because, as Netanyahu tells us, it's not just about the influencers, it's about buying up all of these media companies, which we know Larry Ellison has been doing these last few years. And we know Paramount TV, CNN, still trying to get WB. Netanyahu famously said, we still have to nudge Elon in the right direction about X. But TikTok, they got it. They got TikTok. It's been done. And Netanyahu is extremely he's so giddy about it. Every time he talks about it, he's very, very giddy. So yeah, remember these faces. They're the ones who are doing this propaganda. And just one more shout out to Stu Peter for pointing out the obvious. If it was, you wouldn't have to pay these people. You wouldn't have to pay these people if it was easy to do this job. If it was something you wanted to do on your own. We don't need $7,000 checks to report on genocide. You know that, right? Like, we don't need that. We're not offered it, but even if we were, it would be like, really? Like, it doesn't make, like, we don't need that. We don't need payoffs. And I know Trump likes to tell us this. If anybody has a problem with ICE, it's because they're paid protesters. We don't need money. We just need to show up. That's all. We just need to show up and use our platforms the best we can. That's what it's about. Okay. That was number 3. Okay, let's get to top censored news of the week. Coming in. This is a big one. This is a big one. Okay, coming in at number 2. War with Iran has been on Israel US to-do list for decades. It's now about to get checked off. This is not a joke. We know that Netanyahu has been pushing war with Iran for decades. Every time he comes to DC, he tells us another reason why we need to get ready to take out Iran. I think the one that's ran its course, the excuse that has run its course is what? It's they're ready. They're days away from nukes, days away. That's been used over and over again, all the way back to 9/11. It's even before that. He was doing that in the 90s with the Clinton administration. He was talking about days away, months away. So what is the thing they're doing now? They're pretending that we care about humanitarian aid and needs and the well-being of Iran citizens. Yeah, that's actually what they're doing. And I was disappointed to see Patrick Bet-David get in on the mix. This is what's been going around. Actually, you know what? We'll save that one for later. This is actually what we need to get to. So what Fox is doing right now is they're telling us what's going on in the Middle East, but they're not giving a reason why. So here is Fox telling us about the military strategy happening right now. Here we go.
Well, I got some breaking news. You see this map on your screen. That is where the United States has military bases throughout the Middle East. Now, we can confirm that the U.S. is withdrawing some personnel from major bases across the Middle East due to heightened regional tensions. And you look at some of this in Qatar, that's the Al Udeid Air Base. You got about 8,000 to 10,000 U.S. service members. That's one of the larger bases. You got another Army base in Kuwait that's been operating for some time now, several years, if not decades. So how much of withdrawal, we do not know.
And why?
And why is the ultimate question as to whether or not we are in for some sort of military action, possibly in Iran.
Possibly in Iran. You see how they threw that in there? We're gonna get to the fake part of the news. Their whole scheme with helping humanitarian aid. That's what they've been pushing, but they're not able to tell their viewers militarily what is actually happening right now. So let's go ahead and get this. We had a really good explanation sent to us about breaking it down every part of this, about militarily what's actually happening and the geography of it, and how Netanyahu is making this all happen from behind the scenes. Here's a TikToker. I think he put his name on the video. We're going to check it. I'll make sure I give him the credit on this. But this is a nice, thoughtful breakdown about what is actually happening right now in Iran on our number 2 story of Top Censored News of the Week. Here we go.
So some shit is about to go down in Iran. Mark my words. Netanyahu's plane just landed in Greece, and this is the same shit he did the last 3 times Israel bombed Iran. Also, it has been confirmed that 8 KC-135 Stratotanker fighter jets have landed in Hawaii coming from the United States, while 2 KC-135R tankers departed Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, heading toward Asia, possibly toward Diego Garcia, which is the base previously used by the United States during strikes on Iran. And the U.S. is now currently relocating their personnel from its major bases in the Middle East.
So yeah, he's talking about the relocations. This is the part that Fox leaves out, because maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know any better. They don't know what's actually happening. I don't know. But it's the repositioning on the chessboard that we're seeing all happening at exactly the same time. And you have to get the people we have on bases. You got to remove them from those bases so we can free up that area, and so we have less chance of U.S. casualties, because that's always hard to spin in the media when we have U.S. casualties. That's a hard one to say. Oh, why would we let that happen? So that's why those are being moved, but they're being placed around in very strategic areas on the chessboard. Okay, let's get to this next part in the breakdown.
The U.S. and Israel are currently lying about 20,000 people being killed by protesters to manufacture consent to bomb Iran. And the sources around this 12,000 and 20,000 civilian death toll number are coming directly from the U.S. CIA and the Israeli Mossad, to which the Zionist Western news media is falsely relaying and replaying on a loop to get you all to be okay with what's about to happen. The fact of the matter is, much of the death in Iran the past few days have been done by terrorists planted within Iran to sow hate and division and encourage violence in the region. Terrorists called the Mossad. And now, like clockwork, Western leaders like this little bitch are acting like they give a shit about Iranians and their human rights, when they didn't give a shit about Iranians and their human rights when they were killed by several unprovoked Israeli and U.S. attacks. And you've got U.S. elected officials bought by Israeli lobby money, like these little bitches, openly saying to bomb Iran and Tehran right now.
And this is where we go back to that this has been going on for decades. Lindsey Graham's been around for decades. This guy's old as shit himself, as he puts it, this little bitch. Lindsey Graham famously, well, obviously we know he was in the heart of the Ukraine proxy war, starting that up in 2014, 2015. He's literally there saying, we're going to sell this to the American people. Just you wait, war. But even more than that, the Iran obsession that he's had since John McCain stood on that stage during his campaign and said, bomb Iran. Lindsey Graham's been peddling that language ever since. So this is something that's been on the docket for many years now. And now I think they think that this is all they need. They just need the manufactured consent that we're doing something good, humanitarian speaking, and that's enough. Just getting just enough people on board for that. Meanwhile, we don't give a crap about people in Gaza, Palestinians. We don't care about U.S. citizens being murdered right here in this country. But all of a sudden we have a heart for people in Iran. But again, like he says, it's all manufactured. These lies are not coming from Iran. They're coming from CIA media outlets. They're coming from Reuters. They're coming from these intelligent operations like New York Times, Washington Post. That's where they're coming from. These are CIA intelligent operations, and they allow people like Lindsey Graham to run with this and say, hit them hard, bomb, 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 bomb Iran, as John McCain once famously said. And I'll just say this. We either get, it doesn't matter who you vote for, right? It doesn't matter who you vote for. We're always going to get a John McCain. That's how it goes. And I think, I forget who added the demented John McCain, but that's where we are now. You're always going to get a demented John McCain moving forward here. Okay. A little more to this one.
And this is exactly why the Free Iran movement, as we see it currently at this very day, is a Zionist-driven movement meant to villainize Islam as a whole. I'm not saying that the people of Iran don't deserve to be free of tyranny, because they do, inclusive of and predominantly the Muslim Iranian population. But the Free Iran movement we are seeing today, that Western leaders are jumping on the bandwagon for, is a Zionist-run movement meant for a regime change that will destabilize and further dehumanize the Muslims in the region in order to prop up Israel and give them even more power. We have already received word from several Iranian insiders with vast networks whom have seen Mossad communications alluding to the fact that the US is going to strike the heart of Tehran with no care as to what the civilian casualty count will be, which could be in the tens of thousands, all to kill Iranian leadership. We are about to witness a full-on CIA and Mossad-driven coup right before our eyes, simply so that they can install a Zionist-loving puppet government which will be a threat to the entire planet at large, as this will undoubtedly catapult us towards another world war. But hey, I could be wrong.
And today I can say something we couldn't have said a month ago. This regime is going down. There will be no Iranian regime. And this is going to change entirely the future of Israel.
How it will happen? Can you describe us? It will be an American attack. It will be.
See, this is an Israeli general telling us what's going to happen to Iran. Like this, the fact that he's able to say this so blatantly loud and just proud on the stage, it's unbelievable that this guy can represent an enemy country and say this is what's going to happen with the Iranian people, and not take this as a total threat from a actual general from Israel telling us this.
Israeli-American attack.
So I think it's going to be an American-led attack with the assistance of Israel. We are going to defend them. And indeed, I think that we'll see in the very near future a massive American attack with the help of Israel and with the demonstrators. I think this regime stands no chance, and they will fall. And I can tell you, as I said, the bigger the win will be, the greater the golden age of Israel and the Jewish people.
And that's the guy. That's the guy you guys got to follow. Mossad. So just want to make sure he got the credit on that video that you see there. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. We're actually going to get to a little more on the Iran, the propaganda part of the story later in the show. We got some more real fake news on that issue. So let's finish off top censored news right now. Time for the number one story, guys. You might be able to guess this one because it's been so obviously misreported, so obviously nefariously demonstrated, shown to us by mainstream outlets in such a disgusting way. We got to tell you guys about what's really happening here and the why. I think the why is the most important part of this story. So let's get to the why. Number one top censor news story of the week. ICE documents uncovered by protesters reveal U.S. citizen database scheme. It was never about immigration. What? Yeah. It was never about immigration. It was about digital IDs. It was about super data computer. They tricked you. You were on the right. You thought you were on the right side of things. You thought we were cleaning up the border. You thought we were making America safe again. No, it was always about super data computer. And another part to this we will get to as well in this story right now. It's called the Insurrection Act. But hold that thought. Insurrection Act, hold that thought, and let's just see what's been happening, what the media has been doing as far as damage control and spin as they work off of the Trump administration's psychopathic policy that ICE agents have total immunity and don't have to be held accountable for anything while they hold their identity secret. We don't actually get to see their face. That's part of the deal that they sign up for. No background checks, no nothing. Just people that want a quick 50 grand and want to take out their anger on the American people. And they're being used to, because it's not, and a lot of them probably think it's about immigration. It's not. And let's break this down. So first of all, we know how corrupt CBS News is, owned by the Zionist Larry Ellison now, and Barry Wise running programming. But they had to let you know, any of you guys are feeling any empathy, if you're feeling any empathy for Renee Good and her unnecessary, horrible death, just know that the person who killed her, according to CBS, breaking the ICE agent who fatally shot Renee Good on January 7th in Minneapolis, Jonathan Ross, suffered internal bleeding to the torso following the incident, according to 2 U.S. officials briefed on his medical condition. So it's not actually coming from any medical expert or medical, personal knowledge. It's coming from 2 U.S. officials. And CBS, they're done with their job. They're going to report what the 2 U.S. officials told them to report. And that's case closed. You guys saw him walking away from the crime scene unscathed. You saw him giving orders to clear out. You saw him driving away, not to the hospital, but just in his little getaway car. You saw all of that. And you saw that she didn't get to do the same. She was dead. She was dead on the scene, point blank range, 3 shots into the face, dead. So that we know. So what is the scene looking like now? Well, things have not let up in Minneapolis at all. We get tons and tons of videos sent to us from you guys. It's unbelievable. One after the next. I can't even highlight all of them. But right now, these aggressive agents who got the green light from this administration, they can do whatever the hell they want. They're ICE agents that are crashing into civilian vehicles on the streets of Minneapolis just to make these arrests. Crazy ass, random, just the vehicle breaking the law, criminal behavior on the road, reckless driving at the least. Residents scream he did nothing wrong as federal agents ram cars, smash windows, drag people out in broad daylight. This is not law enforcement. This is state violence. Let's see some of that here. And I might have to turn the volume down on this because people are furious and they're making noise as they should. So you can see this guy got rammed into, which is totally illegal. You can't do that. And just look at the physicality of these people and the fact they're all on masks. This is thug behavior. This is gangster behavior. Everyone honking right now are the people protesters, and good for them. It's scary. It's scary out there. We know what they're signing up for. We are, sympathetic, empathetic to the people out there. They're trying to do good as they're watching their fellow U.S. citizen getting taken away. That's just it. And they don't. This isn't about paperwork. This is just about targeting. You fit the bill, whatever you look like. And it's all types of people. They will do this to anyone at this point. You can tell them you have your ID. You can tell them I just need to go grab it. I'm a U.S. citizen. It doesn't matter. You're gone. And there you go. There's leaving the scene of a crime. That's what they're doing. Leaving the scene of a crime. No paperwork happening there. No accident report, obviously. And that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. It's I'm pressed. And just like I said, there's video after video of this happening right now out there. I'm going to highlight one more, and then we're going to get to we're going to get to the big reveal, which we told you we saw coming the whole time, but it's good that this stuff gets out in the open. So here's one more pretty tough one to watch, but it involves 6 children who are unfortunately, obviously, victims, innocent victims in this chaos. So let's go to that right now. This is the from Broadway Baby. 1 week ago, they killed a white woman in broad daylight. Tonight, they've shot a protester. So there was another person shot in the leg. And aside from that, they put 6 children in the hospital. The kids were in a car with their dad. We're trying to get him out of the neighborhood. The dad, there was no protesting going on. There was just trying to leave, trying to escape. And then ICE throws what they call a flashbang. This is a flashbang. It's a scare tactic. It can be very dangerous, but they throw it at the car. There's 6 kids, 6 little kids in the car, 6 children. Okay, let's see. There was some local coverage. Let's see if they do an honest job. I don't know if they're going to do an honest job here. You guys, you help me. Let's judge this together. Was this reporter covering this accurately after this went down with the father and the 6 kids?
Using chemical irritants, they are using flashbangs. We also talked to an individual who was not involved with the protest, and he was just trying to get his kids out of the neighborhood. He had 6 kids loaded into his car, including a 6-month-old, when law enforcement threw a flashbang at his car, and now he has told us all 6 of his kids were transported to the hospital. We saw EMS come in. We expect that they are going to be okay, but obviously that father tonight is very worried about his kids. When he says he wanted nothing to do with this protest, he was just trying to get out of here when he got caught up in all of this. So it's a good reminder that this is a neighborhood. People live here. And right now there's a little bit of chaos in this neighborhood.
A little bit of chaos. Yeah, there is a little bit of, I'd say that's saying it lightly. There's a little bit of chaos. Hey, I want to welcome Due Dissidents, rated the stream a little bit ago. I'm just seeing it now. You guys, welcome. If you don't know the show, Homeless Left. We're here Tuesdays and Thursdays. Please hit the like for us. Also the subscribe, because we do, the notices go out so you guys can know when we go live. And, sometimes we'll do, special shows during the week as well. So we do appreciate you guys doing that. And we have a lot more show going on today. Non-tribal approach to news. That's what we do here. Okay, let's hear from the father himself. Again, this is not a protester. This is an actual person, a father of 6 who was just trying to escape all of the insanity happening around him, just trying to be a good dad.
It's not even fuck the car, my kids. Inside? Yes, the ambulance is bringing my newborn out the house because he can't breathe. How long? 6 months. And the fucking officer, I told him I was trying to leave.
The officer knew you were trying to leave?
Yes, the officer knew I was trying to leave.
He's the ICE officer?
Yes. He literally called us trying to leave.
Yeah,
they 3 flashbangs at my car. Yes, they hit the outside and under my car.
Yeah, that's it. So that's how it goes. This is what happens when you excuse the behavior of these people in positions of power that are supposed to be protecting us. They've turned the place into a total chaos. We showed you guys at the top of the show, juxtaposed to Stephen Miller telling us that if you get in the way of these people, they will punish you. Basically what they did to Renee Good. And that's on the back of everyone's mind. But still, the people in Minnesota are fighting back, as they should. This is that footage of this all-out chaos in the street right now, initiated by psychopath ICE agents who are trained by the IDF, by Israel. Imagine that. Doesn't this look it looks kind of familiar, doesn't it?
Oh, I got hit in the head really bad. Fuck. Out of the blue, the police are moving forward.
Make America great again, huh? This is what you voted for, huh? Is this it? This is what you voted for, I imagine. Yeah, that's it. So, well, here's the result of this chaos. So you have, there was a shooting we mentioned earlier. Apparently one of the ICE agents had to abandon one of their vehicles. That we don't know if they were assigned these vehicles or they're taking them from home, like an Uber driver. You clock in, you clock out on an app, and you just take your own. We don't know who's assigning these vehicles, but we do know that there was stuff in the vehicle that they weren't supposed to let out publicly. And no, they got their hands on it. I'm going to show you some of this paperwork that was discovered, and this is really the giveaway. I know some people are saying ICE agents are getting doxxed, and you know what? Sucks for them. We're going to cut ahead from this so we don't, participate in doxing too much. But it's not so much what's on the page, it's what the person's talking about, what the girl's talking about that's on the page, which is important. So we did take a little clip from this. You're welcome to go find it yourself if you want the entire, I think it's like a 4-minute breakdown of what's in these documents. But these documents do reveal not just the names and the places and how you can find out who these people are under the masks, but also shows kind of an attack plan to what the job actually is. And it's kind of hidden there in the middle. Here's some of what was discovered.
Is it live? Yeah. In the original shooting that happened here tonight, the ICE agent vehicles that were parked on the street in the shooting, they had to leave their cars behind because they got surrounded by protesters. One of the ICE agent vehicles got broken into, and I found this paperwork. It has a list with FBI operation info. It's got full names of FBI agents, phone numbers, emails. There's maps on where they're staying, where they're holding immigrants. There's hotel names in there. There's judge names. These are just operation paperwork. This literally tells them information for FD 936, request for national DNA database entry. This is how they're entering all of them.
DNA database entry? Database entry? So they are, hold on. So let me get this straight. So they're entering in a database, DNA entry. And I'm assuming this is, you would think on the surface, this is just people who are undocumented. No, this is anybody that they pick up. So you understand that this is just that part alone from those documents. And we're going to have to look further. Hopefully this group was able to turn these in and get this out to people who can actually conduct an actual investigation beyond, or just get it out to as many places as possible and figure out what part of this policy makes any sense, that it's been written out, handed out, and they're following these instructions. But what is it about picking up U.S. citizens that fits this policy at all? Doesn't that confuse you? Don't you guys think that's a red flag right there? The fact that you are arresting, beating up U.S. citizens. You're not actually going for their ID. You're not doing any of the things that you think you would do if the goal was to stop immigration, is to get the illegals out. If that was the goal, they're doing everything the opposite of that. And they're just tracking, tracing, bringing chaos to the streets. You guys see that Minneapolis is literally in chaos right now. Well, all of this leads to this tweet from Trump, and he's going to pretty much tie a bow on this for us, as we already knew. Trump put this out today, actually, this morning. If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators — he always calls them professional. We're always professional when we stand up to this fascism. We're always professional. Okay. Professional agitators and insurrectionists. How funny he chooses the word insurrectionist. How funny is that? Very, very funny. Oddly ironic, but I mean, just extremely hypocritical of him. From attacking the patriots of ICE. So now ICE is the patriots. You see how we switched this? We've switched sides. The left and right have switched. The patriots are now ICE. Right? No. It used to be the Capitol Police were the bad guys, right? And the insurrectionists, that was a ploy by the Democrats, right? That if you showed up to protest at J6, you were an insurrectionist. All that was BS. We know that was BS. Now we switched it. Now we switch it. Now you're kind of getting look, I'm not saying I told you so, but I'm saying now you're being called an insurrectionist. You might have been the same person in 2021 that was calling the other half of the country insurrectionists. Now you're getting called that by the president. So everything kind of switched here. But this is the most important part. The thing that the Democrats pushed 4 or 5 years ago, the Insurrection Act, is now being embraced by Trump. So he's saying the patriots are ICE. They're trying to do their job. So he is going to institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before, and quickly put an end to the travesty that has taken place in this once great state. Thank you for the blah, 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 President DJT. Okay, so this was all by design. It's always been about super data computer, database. It's always been about creating the chaos on purpose and the Insurrection Act. I think it was summed up pretty nice by, let me grab this. This one is pretty much gives you the bullet points that we've pretty much known the entire time. I'm not saying this, but this is it. It's the Insurrection Act. This was always the plan. That's what we're talking about here, guys. So if it was about immigration, if that's what it really was about, what could you do about that? If you wanted to stop jobs that go to people that aren't U.S. citizens, you go shut down the companies, you shut down the corporations, and so we know that he's not doing that, because that wasn't really what this is about. So here we are, total chaos in the streets of Minneapolis. These protesters grabbing the documents from that ICE van, very important. We're going to follow up on this story and let you guys know if there's anything else incriminating in those documents. But yeah, they're big reveal, guys. Spoiler alert: there's a super data computer, and we're all in it. And that should do it for top censored news of the week. Okay, let's go ahead and move on with the show. Here we have back in our studio. We're excited to keep this conversation going because we couldn't get to everything on Tuesday, guys. We had way too much to do. So we're happy that he's coming back to us right now, and we can get to some of these stories here, these important stories that you're just not going to get on mainstream networks at all. So please welcome back to the show, Jay Scott.
What's going on, Matt? Happy Thursday. It's not too often we do twice in a week, but it's a lot happening right now. So glad to be here so we can talk about it for sure.
I got my Resist t-shirt on today, so I try to say so people can see it this time. Yeah,
that's what we need. We need a lot more of that for sure, man. So we need peaceful resistance, not the type of resistance that's going to justify a surveillance state cracking down on us. So, but I agree, we need a lot more of that for sure.
Well, MLK pushed nonviolent resistance. I don't think Malcolm was as big of a fan of that.
And they both got shot. So
what's that?
And they both got shot. But here's the thing.
They both got shot.
But here's the thing. MLK, you definitely, in my opinion, was more effective, in the long run at gathering people behind the cause. Malcolm X was definitely effective at countering some of the propaganda that was put out there about Black people. So Malcolm X definitely had his role, but in terms of actual progress, MLK's message was the right one. And in fact, towards the end of his life, Malcolm did actually move more towards MLK's message. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for self-defense. You know, don't let anyone, you know, abuse you and take advantage of you. But yeah, for sure. I think MLK had it right when he was talking about non-violent protests. So
he had it right because it was the moral thing to do. But let's be clear, it doesn't, just because we're doing non-violent resistance doesn't mean they're not going to implement their insanity anyways. They don't need, so just like we talk about anti-Semitism, they're going to call it, we know the right thing to do is to call out Zionism, not to say do this and that. But make no mistake, just because we're doing it right doesn't mean we're still not going to get accused of the thing. Non-violent resistance is still going to be called violent resistance. Look at Renee Good. She was driving away and somehow she was intentionally trying to mow this guy down. So you just steer the story, but we do non-violent resistance because it's the right thing to do, not because we think that we're going to get a proper result, because we're not dealing with honest actors on the other side. That's the problem. We have to know that going in. That's all I'm saying.
It's also about the narrative, because, you know, if we are acting out and we are literally burning down our own neighborhoods, you know, in our own parts of town, that's not really going to make us friends, you know, with people who were like on the edge and trying to decide, you know, like what the right thing to do is. So, you know, and it's also counterproductive, because if we're burning down our own communities and our own businesses, you know, how is that really sticking it to, you know, the quote unquote rich people? So, you know, or the ruling class, I should say. So, you know, we have to ask ourselves, what's the right way, like, to get the change? And, you know, just on a positive note, I don't know if you heard about this, Matt, but, you know, the UK was trying to roll out their digital ID, and they just had to reverse, you know, that entire movement because of all the non-violent public pushback that they were getting. So there are wins happening out there. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to try and do it again. And, you know, the truth is the UK is somewhat, well, I don't know how it is now, but traditionally it's been somewhat more of a left-leaning country. So if there's another, you know, pandemic or something like that, they might try to slide it in with the vaccine passport again. But I think that overall, the European citizens are more aware of the agenda now than they may have been in the past. So, you know, things could be moving in the right direction. So nonviolence, guys, resist, but non-violently. Like, that doesn't mean you can't defend yourself, but nonviolence, that's what we should be promoting. Yeah,
and be prepared to go to jail with your nonviolent resistance as well. And hope you don't have a maniac cop.
And don't attack police officers and ICE officers, guys. Like, that's not the right way to go about this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I will give a shout out to our UK listeners and viewers, because we know that they have taken to the streets. One of our guys, Sam, wish to go. He actually does get out there and does get arrested with these people. So what you mentioned, as far as them having to roll back, they have to actually roll back their policy right now. That's because of the people standing up and doing it, and having the resilience to continue doing it, not just coming out one time, but multiple times until something breaks. So that's very good. And it's good. They set a good example for the rest of us.
Yep, agreed. So got to celebrate the wins when you get them. There's, you know, few and far in between nowadays. So
yeah, and I just, because you mentioned about the reversal, they haven't been entirely reversed. So this is our guy. I brought him up. This is a wish to go. This is Sam. He's saying the digital ID hasn't been entirely reversed in the UK. But are you saying, we're saying maybe it's heading in that direction? Is that what
I think it's the mandate that's, let me double check on that. I remember the law that got passed saying you needed it to work, you know, has been reversed. So maybe they're still rolling out some, you know, optional version of it, but I can double check that. I'm pretty sure it did get reversed, but I'll look into that.
Okay, we'll stay on that one. For now, I think it's time to get into some Greenland.
Yeah, it's voluntary. That's what it is. So it's not completely reversed, but it's voluntary now. Versus before, you actually needed it to work. So yeah.
Well, good.
It's one step.
It's one step at a time. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and call this. We're going to get into Greenland, guys, because we weren't able to get to that on Tuesday, and so much has even happened since then. So here we go. We're just going to throw up this. It's a little world. I think it's time for some World War III watch. right now. Let's everyone's getting in on it, Jay. Everyone's getting in on it. Let's do it. It's World War III Watch. Let's just face it, it's already started. I'm here with co-host Jay Scott. We are seeing European countries are starting to get angry and vocal against a fellow NATO member. Who could that be? I think it might be, you might want to look in the mirror because it might be us right here in the U.S. Yeah, make no mistake. The European countries are readying for war right now. They are formulating their line of defense, and they're telling us right now, if we move into combat, into aggression into Greenland, there's going to be consequences. Here is the chair of Austria's NATO Enlargement Committee warning Trump directly that if he takes Greenland, Europe will seize U.S. bases.
We take every single base of the Americans, from Aviano to Ramstein, from Romania to all the other military bases will be confiscated, and you will lose it. And the whole position of American power since World War II, if you take Greenland, you have to leave. It's very simple, Mrs. Miller. This is the leverage we have. You need these bases for global power protection. You won't have it. And we can defend ourselves very well, and we will do that without the U.S. nuclear shield, without the U.S. troops in Europe, without the American bases. We will simply run these bases ourselves, and we run your boys home into Chicago and Ohio. And goodbye. If you go extreme, we go extreme as well. Be sure about it.
And then we have multiple countries responding right now to Trump and to basically the call to action. And we saw a bunch of these drop at the same time. First, Germany is deploying soldiers on Greenland. We have France saying they will join Germany and defend Greenland. We say Norway has, well, this one is, I guess, more just for
troops.
It's
two soldiers.
It's symbolic.
That's pretty funny.
It's symbolic. It's symbolic, right? It was
yeah.
But so there's two soldiers. I'll try not to laugh, but there's two Norway saying we officially vote yes. We'll just call it a vote. It's not really anything, right? But on top of that, we have the Swedish Prime Minister saying Swedish Armed Forces personnel have begun deploying to Greenland today as part of a group from several allied European nations. Sweden is sending personnel, from the armed forces at Denmark's request. So they're all getting in on it right now. And so with that said, I think that this response from JD Vance is very telling. So let's put this up, and I want to get your response on JD Vance here. But what he's saying is that, quote, Denmark hasn't done a good job at keeping Greenland safe. Just out of curiosity, when was the last time that a Greenlander was shot dead by a masked agent of their own government? Totally unrelated question, but it's a good one to ask, I think, at this point, ironically. So, and then this is the breakdown of this post. It was sarcastically challenges JD Vance's January 2026 statement from this space base, where he criticized Denmark for failing to secure Greenland by questioning when they last faced external threats, implying U.S. ambitions pose a greater risk. Obviously, I mean, duh, right? The remarks revive U.S. interest in Arctic dominance, building on Trump's 2019 proposal to buy Greenland for strategic minerals and military positioning. And if you guys recall, he did talk about this during his first term, but it was just a lot of noise, not actual action. And this is all about going up against Russia and China, because we got to have it, so they don't have it, which Denmark firmly reject as absurd. And this is where it gets personal for me, because I've personally been to Greenland. I've actually spent time on Thule it's called Thule Air Base. I didn't realize they changed the name of it, but Thule Air Base. So Denmark has governed Greenland since 1380 without any foreign invasions. Wow, I wonder why. Contrasting with U.S.-led operations like Thule Air Base expansions that have sparked local environmental concerns. So that's a brief history lesson for you guys who don't know anything about Greenland. But I've been there personally, and you know, they said U.S. soldiers there. We were doing a USO tour, giving them some entertainment. My brother's band at the time was doing the USO tour, so we were documenting that in back in 2006. And you know, it's one of these things where I'm going to pass it to you, Jay. But your thoughts on this? Clearly, this rhetoric has gone beyond just these you know, loud noises from Trump the first term. He's actually doing this, and it's getting actual troops on the ground from our NATO friends. This doesn't look like it can end well right now, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to this situation. So, you know, it's pretty hard to predict where it's ultimately going to go, but I can give my personal opinion. So those troops that, you know, the EU members have sent over there and quote unquote NATO members have sent over there, if you listen to what the NATO general, the leader of NATO, I forget his name, what he said about it, he essentially said that those troops are being sent there to protect Greenland from Russia and China, which is actually hilarious because they are not even considering taking Greenland at this point. For Trump to pretend that's a possibility, you know, is pretty hilarious because they haven't shown any ambition, or any interest in seizing the area. So I think, you know, what they're trying to do is make an appeal to, if not Trump, then the people around him, like, hey, don't worry, guys. If, you know, Russia or China ever tried anything, you know, we'll be right here to defend you. You know, let's not make this bigger than it needs to be. We'll put troops here to defend it. But when it comes down to it, do I really expect those European troops in Greenland to fight American soldiers if Trump decided to send in American soldiers over there to seize it? Personally, I don't. And the reason why is because a lot of their missile targeting relies on our satellite technology. So the only way they would be able to fight somebody is if we help them fight somebody. So unless they make up with Russia and China and decide to use some of their satellites, because I believe we're like the only 3 countries like with enough satellites and the capability to do like a lot of this serious, you know, targeting using at least the advanced weapon systems, you know, like that we're using now. So like for them to posture like this when they know that they are literally dependent on America, you know, it's kind of funny. But the truth is they didn't need to put themselves in this position. Like all they had to do was say Ukraine cannot join NATO. And all this could have been avoided. They would have had a little bit of leverage. They would have had, you know, Ukraine wouldn't have been at war right now if they just stuck to that line that Ukraine cannot join NATO. But, you know, they've been adamant about expanding NATO, you know, and to be honest with you, I feel like it was probably the secret societies that run all of our countries that push them into doing that. But it's not in the interest in any European country for them to be at war with Russia. Russia provides them cheap energy. They could have been a hedge just in case, you know, America decided to act crazy like this. But now they're in a position where they need one bully to protect, which is America at this point, to protect them, you know, from someone else who they've been picking on, you know, for a very long time. So it's a sad situation. And my prediction on what winds up happening is that, you know, Trump kind of just takes it, to be honest with you, and then the rest of the EU accepts it, because the only other thing they could do really would be to dump US treasuries. Now, if they do that, they will tank our economy, but they'll also tank their own economy. Yeah. So they're shooting themselves in the foot and they're hurting us in the process. So they truly do have very limited options on, you know, how they can really push back against us. But, you know, they've done it to themselves by going along with this, you know, with this needless like antagonization of Russia. They've now put themselves in a position where they have zero leverage and they are literally vassal states who cannot stand up for themselves. So all that, guys, tough talk sounds nice, but they need our satellite technology to use their advanced missiles. And how are you going to fight America if you're not using some of those advanced weapon systems? So that's my prediction.
So I'm trying to look the difference between his first term and the second term. It's financial. It seems like it's all about the economics, because you have this gathering.
And really quick, I think Trump wants to go down as a guy who expanded the American empire. He wants to be able to say, look at all this land, like I added to America. Like, remember the Louisiana Purchase? Like, he wants to get that like attached to his name, Trump the Great, not Alexander the Great, Trump the Great. I think that's what he's kind of going for, in my opinion. So
he's doing the exact thing that the mainstream Western media propaganda machine spent years, since 2014, 15. They spent years creating this character of Putin, who is this expansionist and just wanted more land. And you hear Putin's own words, and he's like, why would we want more? We have to make what we have work. What we have, it's a lot. And so this idea, this psychopath idea that expansionism is equals greatness is absolutely insane, when our own states are crumbling. Like, we see what's going on in Minnesota right now. And like, to think, oh, here's how we'll change the public sentiment about we're talking about make America great. How do you make America great? Expansionism. This is the thing that we labeled our worst enemy. The next Hitler is Putin, right? But it's not actually a thing. From somebody who's smart and knows how to actually govern, you don't go for quantity, you go for quality. You don't need to. So Greenland makes no sense, other than just, like you said, it's like an ego boost. But there's nothing to it that actually will we can actually see, materialistically speaking. You won't actually see the results. You may feel them, but you won't see them.
Because here's the thing. Denmark will let us take the resources anyway. They'll let us put our military bases there anyway. Like, we can use it for all the things that Trump says he wants to use it for anyway. So the only possible reason for us to go in there and do that is, because Trump wants to do it for his ego. Unless Trump really thinks there's a risk that Europe does defect to the Russian side somehow, and then like they could use that as a base to attack America. But everything I've seen them say, makes it seem like there's absolute insane hatred, like for Russia, at least from European leaders, and it doesn't seem like there's a chance of that happening. But if you just look at it from the perspective of the people who live in Greenland, like, they're looking at their situation right now, where they have access to free healthcare, they have access to free education, they have access to free housing, and they have somewhat comfortable lives. And then they think about losing all that to join America, and then they see what's happening, like in American cities at the moment. It doesn't really sound like a popular idea to the local population too. And their experience, unfortunately, with us over there has been one of pretty much colonialism, because that same air base that you just mentioned earlier, the Thule Air Base, in order to build it, we actually burned down the villages and homes of a bunch of indigenous people who had lived there before. And then we pushed them out so we could put our air base right there, because they figured that was a strategic location that we needed. So this is the memory that they have of us, like, as it is. And now we're coming back and we're saying, well, we want to just take the whole country. So it doesn't really sound like a winning proposition to the people who were living there either.
So I just had a memory of being at Thule Air Base. There was an interesting thing that happened, because we had the lead singer of my brother's band. She was very interested and curious, and she was asking questions to the U.S. soldiers there. And I was filming. We're like kind of tracking kind of an EPK for their kind of a behind the scenes of the band and their travels. But she's like, "Hey, why are you guys all wearing green camouflage?" We talked about camouflage the other day, Jay. Why are you wearing green camouflage? Wouldn't you have to be wearing white if you're actually going to be useful? And she goes, yeah, we would if there was combat, we would put on our white uniforms. And she goes, do you have? She wanted to see him. She goes, do you have the white uniforms? He goes, no, we don't actually have them. So it's a funny moment, because it's like, oh, then what are you guys even doing here? But but the point is like there was no reason for them to have them. They were only stationed there so they could be tuned into the matrix, and the matrix being that when you turn on the TV, when you're on an air base, if you guys don't, so when you're on a military base anywhere in the country that's tied to the U.S. war machine, you're watching the same image that a soldier back then in Iraq was watching, the exact same. So it keeps everyone connected. And we realized this, and I was like, oh my God, you have the exact, so it's state-run media, edited films that edit out anything that so we got all that. This was back in 06. It was really interesting to see that methodology in place during the Iraq war. As we were murdering 1 million Iraqis in Iraq, you had soldiers in Greenland stationed there doing nothing, being bored out of their mind, yet watching the same screens that the Iraqi soldiers were watching as they were getting murdered and doing horrible things like Abu Ghraib and all the rest. But they were connecting everyone. That's what I know. I remember that. Very interesting. So I just want people to know that little backstory. I'm gonna look for that. That it's a little short we made. It was way back in the day. I'm gonna look for that and see if I can find it. But it's very interesting. This was a funny one that came up about why would Trump want Greenland. You mentioned the ego, and that's good. There's other reasons too. Let's start with this one. This one is, I was mentioning the money. The money is important. So we talk about the U.S. billionaires. Disclosed TV says that this is the billionaires: Gates, Thiel, Lauder, Altman, Bezos. All of these guys, they have built a footprint in Greenland, investing in AI-driven drilling for rare earths and plans to develop a freedom city. This was all since Trump's first term. So this explains the financial part of it more, right? So you have that. That's definitely part of the equation, not just the ego, but this is how we hold on to. It's about extending the petrodollar even more, right? That's what this could be about. If you, okay, so you, and then let me just put the funny one up too. This is the other one because we talk about the actual look of Greenland from the top down. It seems that there's some military experts that found huge white cocaine fields in Greenland, and they're run by a drug cartel. So we gotta take them down because that's all that cocaine's coming into the states clearly. So
that Inuit drug cartel, they're the most ruthless around, man. I'm telling you, they make El Chapo's gang look like the Teletubbies, man. The Inuit cartel. It's crazy.
So there's a few little speculations of why this is happening, but also this was from one of our viewers. This is important. Trump is splitting NATO. Could that be a chess move here, or are we giving him too much credit?
I don't know. Like maybe, but like it's so hard to actually predict and understand like what's going on right now because there's so many moving parts. But I think to myself, how does splitting up NATO, help the empire? The only way it helps the empire is if the empire is actually going to be based somewhere in Europe and not America. If the elites really want to establish their foothold somewhere in Europe, then splitting up NATO would be a good thing. But it's only bad for America, in my opinion, if NATO gets split up because right now we can use Europe, to project power onto Russia, and into Asia. And if Europe became autonomous and launched their own satellites or decided to partner with Russia and some countries decided to leave and maybe build a military alliance with Russia, I don't really see how that helps America. So maybe, but in reality, what I think is going to happen is we're just going to walk in there and take it, at least in the near future. And Europe is just going to, they might, say a few words, pretend like they disagree with it, and then just move on because they still see Putin, like as the ultimate bad guy. So, or maybe we'll wind up paying Denmark for Greenland. I don't know how it's going to work, but, I can say if NATO gets split up, then it feels like the empire is going to be moving more towards Europe. That only benefits Europe. I don't see how that benefits America.
Well, this is World War III watch, so we do have to point out that beyond.
Can I clarify that? It benefits American citizens if NATO splits up because it makes it harder for us to engage in all these foreign wars. I was speaking more about the establishment when I say it doesn't benefit America. Breaking up NATO is good for the world, to be honest with you, in my opinion. So yeah,
absolutely would be good. I mean, that would be the silver lining coming out of this. But just make no mistake, this peace president turned war president overnight. Or no, he didn't turn war. He was war president the whole time. He just people didn't realize it till he got started. And he's telling us
he took off the sheep's clothing. He took off
the sheep's clothing. Yeah. And here he is telling us about this military budget after a long, difficult negotiations with senators, congressmen, secretaries, and other political representatives. I've determined that for the good of our country, especially in these very troubled and dangerous times, our military budget for the year 2027 should not be $1 trillion, but rather $1.5 trillion. This will allow us to build the dream military, man, that we have long been entitled to, and more importantly, that will keep us safe and secure regardless of foe. If it weren't for the tremendous numbers being produced by tariffs from other countries, many of which in the past have ripped off the United States at levels never seen before, I would say the $1 trillion number, but because of tariffs and the tremendous income that they bring, amounts being generated, that would have been unthinkable in the past, especially just 1 year ago during Sleepy Joe, blah, 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 worst president, blah, blah, blah. We were able to easily hit the 1.5 trillion number while at the same time producing an unparalleled military force, having the ability to do the same at the same time, pay down debt. Really? So wait, whoa, 1.5. What the really hell is he talking? What? And a substantial dividend to moderate income patriots within our country. Holy effing crap. This is seriously. Oh, and by the way, here are all the countries we've bombed since just in 2025. Just so you know, guys, your peace president, who really should have got that Nobel Peace Prize, has bombed Venezuela, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Nigeria, Yemen, and Somalia. And we're not even counting the genocide in Gaza. That's not even on the table because that's well beyond bombing. That is genociding. So there's a genocide list and there's the bombing list, and it goes on from there. So
I wonder, after all of this conversation about Somalians in Minnesota, what percentage of Americans realize that we've been bombing Somalia for a long time, and what percentage of Americans realize that Senator Scott Perry, I believe his name is like on record in the U.S. Senate saying that we fund terrorism like in Somalia through USAID. So it's like, at some point we have to ask ourselves, why do all these people want to leave their home countries? Well, if America is funding terrorism in your country, you might not want to be where the terrorism is. So, we can just have like a whole conversation as we talk about these topics, but I guess that's too much nuance for some people. But yeah, it's amazing seeing the shift, because his whole brand was like, as he was running, we got to end the forever wars. Bush, he was terrible. Iraq, bad idea. There's quote after quote of his Twitter account saying that Barack Obama is going to bomb Iran. Like saying that, he said it before Barack Obama won in 2012, saying that Barack Obama would do it to stay in power. Then he said he was going to do it to please his donors. Tweet after tweet. It's like over a multiple span of years he's been talking about this. And what does he do when he gets into power? I mean, so, this transition is hilarious. And to see him increase our budget to 1.5 trillion, like when that is the main reason MAGA is supposedly supporting him, right? They're saying that he's not like these neocons. He's not the establishment. He's against them. He's increasing the budget by 50%. This is all money that's going to be spent on wars that do not benefit us. Like when we go in and steal other people's resources, it benefits the 1%. It does not benefit the average American. If anything, it hurts like the country, because we will be overwhelmed by the amount of people that are fleeing from their countries that are under fire, trying to go somewhere else. So, Trump can revoke all the visa processing he wants. We'll have to spend more and more money on Border Patrol on top of that. So on top of this line expense now for all the foreign wars we want to fund, we'll also have to spend a bunch more money protecting our borders. While we get poorer, our dollars go a shorter distance and the elite gets richer. So this is a lose, lose, lose for everyone involved in the situation.
And this is interesting timing. We just got word breaking. Thanks for giving us this info. We knew this was coming. Wish to go. Thanks. Maria, we call her coronavirus, Machado, has given her Nobel War Prize to Trump today. She's been saying she's going to do it. So I guess it maybe officially happened. We have to check that out. But how ironic that she got left out. She got snubbed on being the interim sitting or whatever, the what do you call it, the acting president in Venezuela, and now she's like, no, Trump, you have this, as if she's gonna have another consideration of coming in. It doesn't look like she is, but she's kissing ass right now to this guy. And I love this AI video. This sums everything up. This is let's top off World War III watch with this little fun, not AI, it's just it was what do you call it, is it CGI when they put the you guys will see it, but this is Trump looking like the true terrorist that he actually is, as Maria Coronavirus Machado gives him the Nobel Peace War Prize. Here you go.
Are you thinking of getting people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay?
Don't you think so, CNN? Don't you think so? Wouldn't you say that they probably do at this point? After going through it for years with me, being hit, Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, the Iran nuclear threat wiped out, don't you think, and then you just had Venezuela, don't you think, she says, CNN, do you think they take your threat seriously? Wouldn't you say they do after all of the things we've done? What a stupid question.
The United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
We're going to keep it. We're keeping it.
Where's it? Are we going to sell it or put it in the strategic?
Maybe we'll sell it. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also. Yeah, please.
Sir, have you spoken to American oil companies that have had their assets seized about what a post-Maduro Venezuela would mean for them, of what coming back and restarting operations?
The big ones, yeah. I have.
That's it.
We got a gangster in the White House, guys. We got a gangster in the White House, except not one who gets his own hands dirty. He just has other people go out there and do all the dirty work for him. But, that is hilarious. But really quick, I should have sent this to you. Did you see Tucker Carlson just had an interview now he said that he got reports from someone in Russia that they want to bomb, that they're going to bomb the UK and Germany if the war continues. Did you see that?
Yes.
I gotta say, I don't buy that. Me personally,
I was gonna throw that in here at some point, but it needs to be verified. He's just
it does.
There needs to be something else on that.
Yeah.
It's a little strange that would.
Yeah, I want everyone to be aware of that, because Russia is winning the war. So they don't need to do that. Like if they were being threatened, is it possible? If their existence was being threatened, they would do that? Yes, that is possible. But they're literally winning the war. So, beware about people who are trying to put, those types of ideas into your head. I don't think that Russia is just going to go randomly nuke the UK and Germany when they're already winning the war regardless. So,
okay. Moving on to we've been talking about a little Venezuela today, but we need to follow up on this because you guys know everything that's gone down since the top of this year, the kidnapping of a sitting president, the spin as if he was some drug cartel genius that needed to be taken down. Obviously, those charges were dropped. He's still being charged for having machine guns. That's what a horrible thing to have machine guns as the head of the state, that you have weapons. Wow, how dare you, sir? But the part that the mainstream media has been avoiding is that you have not just Chavistas, but you have opposition as well, united together in the streets, telling the world we want our president back because it's our president, and we have the right to do what we want to do, not just with our president and our elections, but our oil too, because it belongs to us too. So all of those things are in play, and these protests continue today. They're not going to stop. They're going to get bigger, and the mainstream media is going to continue to avoid it. So just reminding you guys, this is the streets of Caracas right now. This isn't stopping. This isn't on repeat. This is ongoing. They want their president back, and the media can spin it all they want. That they're celebrating a foreign nation coming in and taking their president. But that's clearly not true. Now, obviously, Venezuela has their problems. They have their corruption. They definitely have feuds between the colectivos versus and the Chavistas versus the opposition party. They've always had that conflict. But this is us coming in and allowing them to unite against us. So that's what we're seeing. So as far as the oil goes, Jay, and this is where we need to have this conversation right now, because people, I think we need to go into the financial, the economic part of this. That why this obsession with stopping China and Russia with their oil contracts. First of all, this isn't working so well. So let's start with this here, and then I want your insight on this. But this is what we got word on specifically from the chief of Exxon. We knew that they were pulling back on this deal, but so Venezuela, just to refresher, Venezuela has the largest oil reserves on earth, and still Exxon doesn't want anything to do with it. Why is that? That's what expropriation without compensation does for a country. The ANC should pay attention to this, except they're too stupid and stubborn to realize how retarded they are. And this is the chief himself, Darren Woods, saying we have had our assets seized there twice. And that was during Trump's first administration, by the way. So you can imagine to re-enter a third time would require some pretty significant changes from what we've historically seen and what it is currently the state. Today, it is uninvestable. And then this was the original. We saw this earlier in this week that not just Exxon, the other ones are telling Trump they don't want Venezuela's oil. And so this plan of his seems to be falling apart. And here's him kind of stumbling around. If you guys hadn't seen this one yet, this is him stumbling around trying to excuse the fact that he doesn't have Exxon on board right now.
Commitments to you, sir? Have any oil companies made commitments to the United States after your meeting on Friday, sir? Which have Exxon?
No, I didn't like Exxon's response. We have so many that want it. I'd probably be inclined to keep Exxon out. I didn't like their response. They're playing too cute.
Too cute. They're playing too cute. What?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Sorry. By the way, just so everyone knows, the first time that the Exxon's assets got seized were by Chavez. That was when Chavez himself was alive. So I don't know when the other time was they were referring to. But yeah, long story short, before Chavez came to power, Venezuela was the richest country in South America because of the fact that the wealth was concentrated in the top 1% of people. The masses were extremely poor. That's the main reason why Chavez gained all this popularity. And then he grew the middle class, and they did very well, for a while. And then unfortunately, the oil price dropped, after Chavez died, and they started, having some issues, and there probably was some mismanagement over there too. So I'm not saying they did the best, that they could have done, but had the oil price not tanked, they still would have been doing great today. So this isn't to say, I support, everything Maduro does or everything Chavez did, but it is to say that us going in and stealing a country's president is going to do exactly what we just saw, happen in the streets. It's going to unite the people in the country against us. So It doesn't really benefit our interests or those companies' interests, for us to do it. But, what Trump is leaving out is the fact that he's promising these companies that he's going to be committing U.S. troops to being on the ground to protect like their assets and their refineries. So think about how expensive that's going to be. You have to pay a permanent security force to stop the local population from uprising against American companies over there that they perceive are looting their oil. So, that setup simply isn't going to work. So, I was watching a program under Duran earlier, and essentially, the latest round of proposals out there is that Trump finds a way to get these oil companies to work with the current government in Venezuela to essentially create a situation where Trump saves face, because he did get rid of Maduro, which he has wanted to do for a long time, so he can pretend he's projecting power, but he still works with the same government structure. And then he releases the sanctions on them, and then they have American companies get a slice of what's happening, with the majority of those profits still staying in Venezuela. That is like the compromise that could keep the country under control, and that's what apparently some people are trying to propose right now. So will that actually happen? I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it does seem clear that a lot of the oil companies are hesitant to go build in a nation that doesn't really like us, like very much. They're going to be seen as hostile foreign invaders, and their assets and their investments will be at risk. So if you were running a business, that doesn't sound like a great business decision.
So
especially because you don't know how long American troops are going to be there. You could invest this money now, and then another administration comes in and says, well, actually, we need those troops to fight Russia. So we're going to go ahead and move them over to Russia or Ukraine, so we can go fight over there.
I'm interested in this this breakdown from and we've covered him on the show. I would love to have him on the show at some point. That would be really awesome. But this is Professor Jiang explaining the Venezuela US China economics. So if you wonder why is China still in, what are we talking about here as far as, because from what I gather, we're trying to hold on to this petrodollar. That's the point, right? You don't want China to be using a different currency, the petro yen or anything like that. That's going to tank us. So this isn't just about CEOs and shareholders getting a fifth or sixth island, or it's not just about the celebrating of riches. It's actually it's more of a defensive move on our end, because if we allow right Russia and China to do business outside of the petrodollar, which we haven't had anyone, we haven't allowed anybody to do that for 50 years here. It's going to be trouble for our entire economy. Let's hear how Yang breaks this down, but I'm sure he has some other stuff to put in the equation that maybe we haven't even thought of. So let's hear from him. And I love to get him on the show and pick his brain sometime. Here we go. Here's some Professor Jiang. Oh, I got to press it from Twitter. Okay, here we go.
We saw what happened in Venezuela, Maduro being kidnapped. And a lot of people are saying that America did this to capture Venezuela oil resources. That's not true. What America did was to spite China. China does have a lot of tools. It does have a lot of weapons. For example, it can continue to destabilize the US dollar. And we saw that with the silver markets, right? So what China did at the start of this year was announce that it would restrict exports of its silver. And China dominates the silver market. And this caused the price of silver to skyrocket. The United States were to cut off China's oil. If the United States were to embargo China could just dump all its US treasuries, could just cause financial havoc, and both nations would be destroyed. So what we're seeing, and here's a metaphor, okay? Imagine a ladder over an abyss. And both China and the United States are trying to climb this ladder, and it would be their best interest to climb it together at the same time. The United States, for whatever reason, insists on being higher than China. Now, if the United States goes too far and leaves China far behind, the latter destabilizes and they both fall into the abyss. If China overtakes the United States and climbs too far, they also both fall into the abyss. Right now, the American financial industry lacks the capacity to self-correct. And so if the market collapses, it's probably going to take the entire economy with it. And so that's a great problem facing the U.S. financial industry. That's problem number one. Problem number two is over-financialization. And this goes back to the silver example. So China really needs silver. But in the United States, silver is used for speculation. So silver is really it's only paper silver. And a lot of these companies like JP Morgan, they're over-leveraged 300 to 1. So every 1 ounce of silver that they have, they promise 300 on paper. This war will be settled in Odessa. I think that NATO will collapse in Odessa because NATO will commit to defending Odessa. Russia will encircle it, blockade it, and NATO will not be able to hold on. NATO will force Europeans to be conscripted into the army to die in Odessa. They will refuse, and you will have civil war throughout Europe. But this is like a 5 to 10 year time frame. It's not going to happen this year. It's going to be another 5 to 10 years. But it's a slow death for Europe.
It's a slow death for Europe. Man, it's all he just tied it all together, man. We try to break these things up and understand them as these individual conflicts, but it's all connected.
I mean,
yeah,
and I think he's on to a lot. I will say, they're already trading without the US dollar. So Russia is selling its oil to India without the US dollar. Russia is selling its oil to China without the US dollar, and China is also buying oil from Saudi Arabia without the US dollar, which a lot of people don't know. But the difference is Venezuela is on this side of the world. So if America can control Venezuela and force Venezuela to, stick to that and to, sell everything in USD, then that does, solidify a little bit more, of that demand for the US dollar. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with him to an extent. And I think also on top of what he's saying, it is also somewhat of a sphere of influence thing. So it's about making a statement that Russia and China should not be involved anywhere in this hemisphere. So, what this is ultimately going to lead to at some point, we'll have a problem with Brazil too, because think about it. BRICS, you know what BRICS stands for, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So
and then there's a plus after it, right? Like
LGBT, plus, and
plus, right?
exactly. They've added so many other countries. It doesn't fit with the the abbreviation. But yeah, so Brazil is a founding member of the BRICS alliance. So they have actually been one of the most vocal, advocating for BRICS currency, which personally I don't really expect to happen because the interests of these countries are too different. So I don't really expect there to be a BRICS currency. But, he is right. I think it's about making a statement and letting the world know this hemisphere is America's. If you're going to buy anything over here, it's going to be in USD. So, and obviously oil is the most widely traded commodity, in the world. So,
yeah. All right. Well, I think, I think we are closed that one out for now. Obviously, we're going to come back to this as things continue. You got time for one more? Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay. We are talking about Palantir again because Palantir hasn't gone away. It's behind all of these tech deals.
You got my tweet I got blocked for, right?
What's that?
You have my tweet I got blocked for. I had sent that to you over
the
Twitter.
tweet that got blocked.
I got blocked by one of the founders of Palantir, man. Right. That was a moment of accomplishment for me. That is something I will take.
That is awesome. Okay, let me
go ahead.
Could you send the link and I'll queue it up and we'll start we'll reset. So for the edit, we'll reset it and get this going. I'll just do the share screen with it. That's important. And this is the guy. This is the we're going to be talking about Joe Lonsdale, right? That's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we'll start with that. So as soon as you send me that link, we'll start. I'm going to start with what he put out there, and then we'll get to your. That's awesome, man. I totally. Man, it's sometimes, man, we try to juggle 10 stories here at the same time. It's a lot, but we got it all. We got it. That's why it takes a team, guys. It takes a team. We can't do this by ourselves. One guy can't do this by himself.
Oh yeah, no, man, too much going on in the world to try to keep up with everything. But I will say, like, I didn't even know who this guy was. I'm sure I had heard his name at some point before, but I had never tweeted at him before. But I just sent it to you over WhatsApp. But this is literally my first time ever sending a tweet to this guy, and he blocked me like literally within 10 minutes. And all I said in the tweet was verifiable facts that anyone can go look into. It's basic history everyone should know. I'm just tying a few things together. And just to give everyone a brief overview of the context here.
Well, let me reset the story, and we'll sure. If you want to start. So because I always look for the edit here. Okay. Palantir's back in the news, guys. And we know the names that come to mind. We think of obviously we think of Alex Karp. These other guys, Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, these guys have been pretty nut job about when they speak up, when they go on, they do their little barbs. They all show their sociopathic behavior, their nihilistic behavior, and not to mention just world domination vibe every time they open their mouths. But in this case, I'll put this up, and I'm gonna, because Jay got engaged with one of these guys that we hadn't heard of his name before, but he's also very high up in Palantir. This guy's name, there he is. His name is Joe Lonsdale, and it seems that as a co-founder of Palantir, he says his goal is to save Western civilization. In posts on X, the billionaire founder seemed to imply that Palantir's mission is aligned with the U.S. military intervention, which it obviously is. And Garrison Lovely, the co-founder, puts this out, just endorsed Apartheid South Africa. Wow. And Rodessa, and said that U.S. should move toward their model of open white supremacy. He is one of the founders of the AI industry super PAC, along with OpenAI. So he's also an investor in OpenAI too, with Sam Altman and those psychopaths that like to create AI technology that's going to help our kids commit suicide. That's another. So these guys, they got their hands in all these different places. And this other one, President Greg Brockman, and I don't know this at A16Z. Is that? I don't think I know that one. But anyways, Jay, let me pass it to you before I put what Joe did on Twitter here that got him a little riled up at you personally. What exactly happened here, Jay?
So he just invested in a drone manufacturing company that is based in Nigeria that is currently trying to help protect the African continent from terrorism. So I don't know when people are going to learn the lesson that you probably don't want to work with the CIA if you're trying to stop terrorism in your country. However, this is what they decided to do because Palantir was literally founded with Q Intel money. Like, these guys are known CIA assets. Like, Palantir is the private sector implementation of the total information awareness program that Whitney Webb does a great job highlighting. It was a program that was so dystopian, they wanted to make it a government agency that knew everything about you. Congress rejected it, so they just pushed it to the private sector and created Palantir. And this guy was a co-founder in that effort. So now, not only is he, running our surveillance dystopia over here, he's also personally investing, in defense companies that are supposed to be fighting the same terrorism that the CIA is funding, like over in Africa. So on top of him doing all of that, he's also openly racist because he talks about how great Rhodesia was going, which was the name of Zimbabwe when it had its own apartheid rule before, that got ended. And he was talking about how great things are going in apartheid. So, and he literally says, oh, we will save America. We will make sure we put America on the right track. So he's advocating for those types of apartheid policies here in America, and he's investing in defense contractors over in Africa. So personally, that doesn't sound like the type of guy like you should want, you know, as an investor, if you're trying to protect your country, if he's literally involved in the organization that is destabilizing your country. So all I did was I pointed out these facts in the tweet, and I even, you know, listed Scott Perry by name, who is the U.S. senator who recently went on record saying that USAID has been funding Boko Haram in Nigeria, which is the terrorist group that Trump is supposed to be funding right now. And just because Trump has quote unquote disbanded USAID, don't think he stopped the money flows to those same groups. It's just been shifted around and reorganized. And now Marco Rubio, or Narco Rubio, I should say, is handling that, you know, over there in the Secretary of State.
So let's look at, this is the tweet he put up, and then we'll see how you responded to it, Jay. This is him making this comparison of Rhodesia then and now. You can see the shift here, South Africa, and then onto the next part. He's saying the same will happen with America if we let it. The toxic brew of race communism and anarcho-tyranny that turned the dark continent back into being such after a century of civilization had taken deep root on our shores and will destroy us as it destroyed them if we let it. And he says we can take things back in the right direction. And that's what Garrison Lovely was alluding to, that he was making this claim that we should be open to the same model of open white supremacy. And then here's you went ahead and did this response here. Let's see if I can grab this here. There it is. If you want to sum it up or read it, and then
so what I was responding, so he is trying to compartmentalize everything, right? When he made that original tweet, he was speaking to MAGA and some of the small sections of racist white America over here and the elites in white America over here, because he wants white Americans to be radicalized. However, that's not the same conversation he wants to have with Africans. So the tweet that you have up right here is my response to him bragging about supporting that drone company that I had just mentioned. So he doesn't want the followers and the people in Africa to be looking into the other things he said. So all I did was I pointed out the other things that, you know, he's also been saying publicly online. And, you know, I brought in some of, you know, his ties to that same intelligence agency. So, you know, really quick, I just said, so you think apartheid was the right direction in Rhodesia and South Africa, but you expect dark-skinned Africans to believe that you care about the future of their countries and aren't working with the same intelligence agencies that destabilize them? Well, have you heard of the testimony from sitting U.S. Congressman Scott Perry describing how we directly fund Boko Haram through USAID? Are you intentionally ignorant about America and our allies destabilizing Africa to come in and loot the resources? Have you ever investigated all of the African leaders we've assassinated? And why do you pretend that Africa's problems are not largely externally driven? And, you know, one thing, you know, I just want our readers to, you know, our listeners to, you know, take a look at. There's this narrative that Africa has always been in shambles and has always been a poor, backward continent.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you go back to the Kingdom of Mali, that was the start of Africa's downfall. The richest person in history is Mansa Musa, and he literally took a journey across the Middle East and into Asia, giving out so much gold that he crashed the price of gold. And at that point, that's when the world realized how much money was in Africa. And the world has kind of been, well, elites, I should say, have been plotting how to divide and conquer Africa since that point in time. But if you go back to that point in time, which was in the 1300s, the average quality of life in the Kingdom of Mali was better than anywhere in Europe at the time, because it is a wealthy continent with a lot of natural resources. But there's been a divide and conquer strategy that's been, you know, deployed over time. So, you know, nations and groups of people have good times, they have bad times. Africa has been in some bad times, for sure, for the past few hundred years. But I want everyone to know there is a history there. We just don't get taught about it. And that's intentional. And that's just one example. There are other African empires I could talk about, but that's not what we're talking about on this show. But just take a look at history, guys, and don't believe all the bullshit that Africa has never had an accomplishment or never did anything before Europeans came.
Wouldn't you think it's time that we just look at patterns of behavior? Isn't it about time that we start just believing our own eyes? You don't have to be a scholar in African history to know that we use the same playbook every time. We create a theater production of turmoil and distraught in a particular part of the globe that we want to then control. So we control the narrative of what we think about that a region, and then we manipulate the American people and Western civilization. We manipulate their emotions to then be okay with the things that we're going to do because we're told these things and people believe this stuff. So but every single time we try this, we were lying every time. And we're seeing this in real time with Venezuela right now. We're seeing this. We obviously knew Ukraine was BS. A lot of lefties fell for that one. But it's the same playbook every time. They want us to come in. They want us to save them. They're just naturally just incapable. There's this idea that there's a certain type of people that aren't us that are just naturally incapable, and they need us to come in and interfere. Otherwise, they will just naturally fail because that's how they're built. And it's a very supremacist way to approach our relationships with the rest of the world. And we're guilty of falling for this when we weren't using our critical thinking skills, but now we are. So I just tell people what you're saying. Again, you don't have to be a scholar in this, but we should question it. Why do you think this about Africa? Where did you get that information? Who told you this stuff to begin with? Right.
And just to be clear, this has been an intentional strategy that has been going on for hundreds of years because the people who first started looting Africa, the elites that organized this and the secret societies that got together and started it, they knew that there were powerful kingdoms over there when they first started. So they had to play the long game, the divide and conquer game. And over hundreds of years, it's worked. But you don't have to go back that far. Just look at the recent history, right? The Congo is, I believe, one of the poorest countries in Africa at the moment. Their first leader, after gaining their independence, was assassinated by the CIA and I believe it was Denmark's intelligence agencies. I forget which European intelligence agency, but it was a combination of us with one of our European allies. And this guy was literally, all he was trying to do was to set up a situation where the people had a stake in some of the profits that were being made off the resources. So he was still willing to partner with American and European countries. He just wanted to keep some of the profits in the country, which seems like a reasonable deal. And what did they do? They assassinated him. And since then, think about what that does to the mentality of the other people there. If you're interested in politics, are you ready to sacrifice your life to do this? Are you willing to be the next person that gets assassinated? So you strike fear and terror into everybody else, and then they get offered either millions of dollars to be a Western puppet, or they wind up assassinated like Patrice Lumumba. And that's one person. We've done it all over the continent. So I'm just using that as an example because it's the most resource-rich country in the world, per square foot, per square mile or whatever, and based on the population, but it's also one of the poorest. And that's a pattern that you will see repeated throughout much of the world. Most of the most resource-rich countries in the world also have the poorest populations. That's not a coincidence, guys.
Well, look, congratulations, Jay, for getting blocked by this CEO of Palantir, co-creator of Palantir, one of the most evil companies on the planet. And just to remind people how evil it is, I mentioned Alex Karp earlier. This is a recent shareholders meeting of Palantir where they bring Alex in. They were doing all their business stuff. I bet you, Alex, I bet he came in last minute. He wasn't even paying attention. He's deliberately in a white T-shirt. The rest of them are in their ties. And he just wanted everybody to know how evil he was, just in case you guys were getting a little too, off onto the money, profit discussion. He wanted to let you know that we also like to murder people. Watch the look on the faces of the shareholders when he reminds everybody watching this video that went from their own website, shareholder meeting, everybody watching, watch their faces when he reminds everyone that we like to murder people. And that also helps you. That's actually a big reason. One of the biggest reasons why you guys are making a ton of money, because we murder people and we love it. Here we go.
Alex, as always, we have a lot of individual investors on the line. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end the call?
We're doing it. We're doing it. And I'm sure you're enjoying this as much as I am. Let's not talk to analysts about the burden of being right, our burdens of investing in ontology, our burdens of actually looking at the math, the burden of reading what the Rule of 40 is, the burden of being honest about what an enterprise software company is, or the burden of explaining to your friends that you're really happy. Maybe we should just stop talking about it. I'm very happy to have you along for the journey, and you are partners for us. Every Palantirian, we are crushing it. Everyone else who's listening, we are dedicating our company. We have dedicated our company to the service of the West and the United States of America, and we're super proud of the role we play, especially in places we can't talk about. And we love our success in the U.S. and globally. Also, we are doing in the United Kingdom and many other places. Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and on occasion kill them. And we hope you're in favor of that. We hope you're enjoying being a partner, and we're really happy and very, very focused on what we're doing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That concludes Q&A for today's call.
Can we see? Okay, I want to pause. Could you guys see that? The way they turn their chairs? I just thought it was really interesting. Watch it. I don't know if you could see it because it's maybe a little fuzzy here, but watch. I'm going to pause it here. Thank you for your time. Okay.
That concludes Q&A for today.
So I don't know if you can see, guys, because it's a little hard, but these guys looked a little like, did we have to end it like that? The murdering part? We're all greedy motherfuckers here. We want the money, but did you have to say that out loud? Oh, damn it. That's what he does. That's why did we invite him? He does that. I'm getting that vibe, but he really said that out loud. That's what we're doing. We're in the age of, you say the quiet part out loud, guys. I don't know if we don't have to be we don't have to bug a meeting room anymore these days. They just announce what they're doing. And he's perfect vessel for that. This guy's a psychopath.
Yep. That's where we're at. And, I guess it's only a matter of time before Trump invests, like he uses the American government to invest directly in Palantir, because he's already started using the US government to take ownership stakes, actually, in private companies that he considers to be, key companies to American infrastructure. So pretty soon we'll all be shareholders, so as taxpayers. So that's where we're at. So
yep, that's where we're at. Jay, anything you want to leave us with? I know we got through a bunch of stuff today, but I might have missed something really important, or we can, whatever you said. Just want to throw it to you one last thing before.
Yeah, I just want to remind people, this isn't a black pilling show. There are solutions out there. The future is decentralized. We spoke about the small win, that happened in the UK. At least the digital ID won't be mandatory, at this point. But if you're interested in getting involved, we know the duopoly isn't going to, fix it. But if you go to www.wtpnational.com, we are building a decentralized party where you will have full control. You'll be part of the executive authority decision making in your party at the local and state level and national level when we build there too. So the future is decentralized, guys. And yeah, if you have a lot of savings in US dollars, you might want to protect that, because these wars cost money and our dollar is not looking too great. So on that note, be easy, Matt. I will catch you soon.
Thanks, Jay. I'll see you next time. Jay Scott, everyone. This is the Homeless Left, a non-tribal approach to news show here all afternoon today. This Thursday, we got more show coming to you right now, and I want to give a special shout out. This is a what a cool super chat we got from Citizen Pendejo. Here we go. Thank you so much. What do we want? Jake GTV. When do we want it? Split in two in the middle of the show and at the end. Well, you know what? I think we're at the middle now. So we'll start with the middle and we'll see what happens at the end here. But yeah, that was a long, we didn't want to do the full 12 minutes. 12 is a long time. But what I did do here, and you guys got to see this basically sums up everything we've just been talking about. If you just got here now, don't worry about it, guys. You're about to get the 4-minute rundown of everything we just covered for the first 2 hours. We'll give you the 4-minute rundown right now. I'm going to give you guys a little Jake G TV action. You guys, if you're just hearing about Jake G TV, go check them out. Really thoughtful, humorous pieces using AI and cut with real footage to make an artistic statement, political statement. We like it. We think it's very creative, very cool. They come out with stuff like every probably once every week or two. They'll throw something else out. So thank you, Citizen, for finding this one for us. Here you guys go. Little Jake G TV action, and we'll see you back here in about 4 minutes for some more Homeless Left, your non-tribal approach to news.
President of No Wars has bombed Venezuela and kidnapped their president.
Isn't this the 7th country he bombed this year?
Exciting, right? Check this out.
All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night, and it was deadly.
Thanks, Trumpstein. If Israel wants oil, we'll make it happen. Ching Chong, take it away.
Thanks, guys. So it all started in the middle of the night with no congressional approval, the exact day Trumpstein was supposed to explain the Epstein redactions. Roll the footage. Look at that, just a perfect distraction from the Epstein files. And how perfect is this for Israel?
Go back to China, Ching Chong. The Venezuelans are happy, so just shut it down.
Wait, I thought the ones in Venezuela are protesting, though.
Shut up, Goyam. Listen to the news and stop noticing.
Thanks, Daisy. I just joined your Only Freaks. But here are the ones in Miami. Just a perfect emotional justification to steal their oil, right? Anyways, Ching Chong, please interview the people who actually think this is about democracy.
What's your take?
Not everything is about Israel, stupid lefty. Go watch the news. The Venezuelans are happy. Trumpstein is making America great again. Maybe learn how to watch the news.
Wow. Okay, let's see what videos are circulating online. This one keeps being reposted everywhere too, but that's not even President Maduro. That's Hugo Chavez. You guys believe that? All right, what else we got?
Nick Shirley, the Jew lover, posted this one saying it's in Venezuela. But turns out it's Florida. What's up with that Ching Chong? Why is everyone posting fake videos?
Literally all the videos are from Madrid, New York, Miami. Dude, imagine if a foreign country stole Biden and said they're coming for our resources. How would you feel? Next video.
Thanks, Ching Chong. Well, isn't this one posted by Alex Jones real? Nope. That's from July. What the heck? Is this Operation Mockingbird or something? That would be pretty accurate, seeing as CNN, Fox, and all the other Jew lovers are pushing the same agenda.
Right? Like this one posted by Elon turned out to be AI too.
El pueblo finalmente está libre. El pueblo llora por su libertad. Gracias a los Estados Unidos por liberarnos. Y viva la libertad.
All right, this is all fake and gay.
Ching Chong, let's see if the normies are noticing yet.
Are you excited we kidnapped Maduro and his wife?
Yes. Finally, my family will be free.
Right. Regime changes always go well. Let's go to Jenny in Venezuela.
We're here in Venezuela where at least 40 civilians have died in the incident, which is a small cost for a lot of oil. Trumpstein's official narrative is that he's protecting us from drugs, but fentanyl comes from Mexico, so that's a retarded excuse. Brian joins us live from the actual Venezuelans living here protesting against the United States. You won't see this anywhere else.
Yeah, so apparently there's no fentanyl here in Venezuela. So while folks overseas are celebrating, the people here are definitely not happy about it.
Thanks, John. So after finding all those fake videos, the only actual public videos inside their country are of them absolutely pissed at us. Check this out.
Vienen por el petróleo y van por ustedes también. Entiéndanlo, que ellos aquí quieren petróleo para continuar su guerra. Entiendan que ellos aquí quieren nuestras tierras para poder seguir alimentando guerras. No son un ejército de paz. La hora de la tierra es la hora de la chiquita y aquí nos vemos, compatriotas, defendiendo la tierra. Esta tierra es nuestra. ¡Viva Venezuela!
Do you know what she said?
No idea.
In other news, Israel broke ceasefire 1,190x times with bombs, shells, and gunfire, all funded by U.S. tax dollars.
Gosh, so Talmudic.
Yeah, the frickin' chosen people are on a sick one.
All right. We are back, guys. We are back with some more Homeless Left, non-tribal approach to news for you guys today. Welcome all if you're just joining us. And if you're coming from another show, we know we had the Do Dissidents raid earlier, so appreciate that, guys. And appreciate our mods helping us out. I know Bonzo Beans has been helping us out there on Rumble and on YouTube. So very cool. Shout out to all you guys. And just if you're just stumbling on us, please hit the subscribe, not just the like, the subscribe. It'll help you guys get tuned in when we go live because they send the notification out. Generally works better on Rumble for that. YouTube tends to not let you know that as regularly. So that's unfortunately a problem sometimes on YouTube. But either way, show us some love and support because we're constantly fighting the censorship industrial complex. We're constantly fighting the shadow banning that goes on, the censorship all around. And it's a struggle, but we can't do this without you. Basically, you guys are what makes us go. And that's why we've been able to get to the 1 year mark on YouTube, heading on 3 years with Rumble here. And yeah, very excited to be here, guys. Let's move into this next segment. It's a spillover from Top Censored News. And it's also a little bit from yesterday. We couldn't do, or on Tuesday. We do this segment called Real Fake News, and sometimes there's weeks where there's just too much to cover. So we'll do a part 2 for you guys, particularly on the Iran story. I think it's really important to show you guys how, even with all the fakeness going on, every once in a while, they accidentally tell the truth on these mainstream outlets, particularly Fox News, who's been really the spearheader to champion the war machine of Trump's administration, and has been championing the ICE raids and all of the justifications with how you spin bringing democracy, to Venezuela, bringing democracy to Iran. So let's look at this Iran spin and Fox News accidentally telling their viewers what's really happening. So we'll start with this. Actually, I'll throw this up here. Yeah, we'll call this Real Fake News Update, part 2 for the week. Here we go. It's a Real Fake News Update, not brought to you by Pfizer. In this climate right now of Trump's 1 year in, we know that the mainstream media is essential in keeping the narrative locked and loaded as far as how we police the world, what country we invade next, how we justify our interventionism, how we've been doing it in Venezuela, this idea that it's time to go get Greenland. But Iran is really the one they've been working on for years. And look, we know that CNN, MSNBC, their job is to make us afraid of Trump for particular reasons that are more distractional, but ignore the ones we should be upset about. And so that's their job. Meanwhile, Fox, they are all out war. So when it comes to Iran, it's no different. And it's unfortunate when we see people that you would want a little more thought go into it. But when they get invited on Fox News, people like Patrick Bet David, he is ready to justify we're bringing democracy to the Middle East. Once again, Patrick, tell that morning audience on Fox why you're so excited about us yet again saving the day, this time in Iran. Go for it.
Iranian people have been wanting to get away from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard for 47 years. For 47 years, the number one candidate that everybody would talk about that could pull this off is the son of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, which his name is Reza Pahlavi. Everybody wants him to go back and do it. He's supposed to be the savior. The only difference between the last 47 years and today is there's a guy at the White House that they fear in Iran. When I mean fear, they know his threats are not regular threats. There are certain people you fight when he tells you, if you say something, I'm going to hit you. And you're like, no, this guy's full of it. When President Trump tells you he's going to do something, he does it. Iranians remember when he took out Qasem Soleimani, and they realized this is not a regular guy to play around with. But here's what I will tell you. Emotions are very high right now, very, very high right now. And people around the world who are Iranians that want to go back and see their country, all of us remember the history of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, how amazing of a job he did. He gets criticized a lot. But to us Iranians who came from there, I was born during that time, and my family stayed in Iran for 11 more years. So I lived in Iran under Khomeini for 11 years. But here's what's happening that media is not talking about. We're hearing reporting about 200 people. Why would Khamenei and Pezeshkian turn off the internet for 3 days? The numbers I'm getting is 2,000, 4,000. Doctors, hospitals sending reports saying these numbers are higher than it is. And there's a couple things going on, but I'll pause here. There may be a follow-up question from you guys.
Okay, so the reason why the numbers are all skewed and all over the place is because they're skewed and all over the place, because most of the outlets are reporting these death tolls are coming directly from the CIA, from the Mossad. That's how it works. These news outlets like Reuters, New York Post, New York Times, all of these, obviously CBS is probably the worst, is even worse than Fox right now because of the Larry Ellison influence, the Barry Weiss influence, as far as keeping this narrative alive. If you can't mention the Mossad, that's the one thing you cannot do. You cannot mention the Mossad, even though we know for an absolute fact, because they admitted themselves, the Mossad is in the streets right now, creating the chaos, creating the deaths, actually doing the infiltration of these protests and creating the havoc in order to manufacture the consent of the American people and get Trump to come in and bomb Iran. That's what's actually happening. Now, Fox, are they going to allow this to be told to their viewers? Well, if they do, the host better be ready to push back, or worst case, cut to a commercial. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen in this situation. And unfortunately for Fox News, Iran's foreign minister gets to talk for a little while about what's really happening there. And the host has a little hard time. He tries to push back, but let's see how much they get in. But we're not cutting to a commercial. They're letting this conversation happen. So this is interesting. And I hope some Fox News audience were paying attention. Here we go.
One reason they wanted to increase the number of deaths. Why? Because President Trump has said that if there are killings, he would intervene. And they wanted to drag him into this conflict. And that was exactly an Israeli plot. They wanted to drag the President of the United States in this conflict. So they started to increase the number of deaths by killing ordinary people, by killing police officers, by starting a kind of, fighting inside the different cities.
Mr. Foreign Minister, you're saying that these killings, these deaths are at the hands of foreign elements inside your country, not by the Iranian regime. That's not what we're being told when we get people to talk to us on the ground. The internet has been shut off, but occasionally turns back on, and we do hear from people on the ground who tell us various stories. Witnesses spoke of seeing snipers positioned on rooftops in downtown Tehran, firing into crowds of peaceful protests, turning abruptly into scenes of carnage, panic as bullets pierced through people's heads and torsos, sending bodies toppling to the ground, and an emergency room treating 19 gunshot patients in a single hour. The regime is on a killing spree, said one protester, and we've seen the video of body bags stacking up. You were saying that all of this is because you're not in control of your country and foreign elements are killing people inside your country?
So he's trying a little spin, like, so you're saying you don't have control of your country and there's other outside influences. And well, yeah, that's what he's saying. Of course, there's outside influences. Mossad is an outside influence. They have a massive history of infiltrating and creating the false flag operations all over the world. They've been doing this for years and years and years. So everybody knows that. I don't know if the Fox News audience knows that, but yeah, he's giving him a chance to explain. Very good. Explain away, because I know there's a lot of Fox News audience that need to hear this explanation. Here we go.
No, I'm telling you that it was a fighting between our security forces and terrorist elements who had a plan to create a big number of killings in order to provoke President Trump to enter into this conflict and start a new war against Iran. And that was exactly an Israeli plot. The footages that you mentioned have not been seen in Iran. I have to tell you that a misinformation campaign is going on at the same time.
And you're suggesting that it's Israel and Mossad acting like Iranian forces, shooting the Iranian people to make casualties to spur on the action of President Trump. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that don't believe that, Mr. Foreign Minister.
Yeah, the reason they don't believe it is because you're lying to them with your news, which is not news. It's CIA, Mossad talking point propaganda, top-down instructions. That's why they don't believe it. So they're not coming up with this opinion on their own accord. They're doing it because that's what you're doing. So let's yeah, he was managed to get this part out.
No, Mossad has already confessed that.
They may be on the ground, sir, but as far as them killing hundreds and hundreds of people to make it look like you did, it does not appear in the video that we get out. That
they may be on the ground, sir. Well, why did you not tell your audience that? Why did your guest have to tell your audience that the Mossad is on the ground and openly bragging about how they're assisting us? So that means that they don't have the moral compass. They would never do anything violent. They're just helping out. That's what the Mossad does. They help out. So if this audience is watching this right now, hopefully they go, wait a minute, how come you didn't tell us that? But you just agreed. You just agreed that yes, the Mossad has said out loud they are on the ground creating this chaos, but they would never murder anyone. No, that's not a thing the Mossad does. That's what organically happens, right? From the ground. These protesters are doing that, right? Right. Okay. And again, we're supposed to believe that we care about Iranian lives and their well-being, and we need to go act fast and come in and be the heroes. Yeah, that's what they're going to continue to do. Now, look, I didn't see this coming because, I went ahead and tweeted this out or reshared it. We'll remove that one. This is it was Disclosed TV that put this out, and I ended up reposting it, and lo and behold, within minutes, I get a notice from X saying we put a warning message on these posts because they might is the operative word here, might have sensitive content like nudity, sexual content, violence, gore, or hateful symbols. So clearly what you guys just watched is what I just shared out. Clearly none of those things are there except violence. And who aired the violence? Fox News did. Fox News aired the violence in that second frame there next to the discussion. And that's it. Other than that, the discussion itself didn't seem appropriate that anyone else share it out without that warning. So this tweet has a warning on it that there's rules being broken as far as Elon is concerned. So that's good to know. Good to know. Thanks, Elon. I will make a mental note of it. Don't share out anything more in regards to a mainstream media outlet who happens to have a guest on who says the thing that they're not supposed to say on your network. I'll be sure to heed that warning next time because I don't want a warning on my tweet, on my retweet. I'm terribly sorry, Elon. Won't happen again. Okay, that is going to be it for a real fake news update, not brought to you by Pfizer. Okay, let's move on. We have some more show for you right now. We're going to get into, this is what we need to do now. Okay. I got a plan for you guys. We haven't done a HOLLYWOKE. this year. This will be our first one. So let me make sure we got that all ready to go. Okay. I know you're not all fans of HOLLYWOKE. I get it, because Hollywood is not relevant anymore. It's not important. We happen to be here in LA. There is definitely a connection between the propaganda machine that we do care to tap into and see what is it that they're pulling on us from day to day, from week to week. Definite connection between the storytelling of the CIA, Mossad, that goes through Washington. They go through here. They go through Hollywood. So this is it is all connected, man. It's all connected, man. So, you know, these award shows, of course, they have gotten a little much. I think people are getting sick of these. So we report on Hollywood here. When we report on it, we're on the inside, stepping out and looking in. I don't know how to show that, but like we're not on the inside looking out. We're on the inside stepping out and then looking back in and then reporting to you guys what's really happening here, because it does get insane in this part of the world, that there are people in place that are ready to be used to push military industrial complex agenda, Mossad, CIA agenda through the entertainment apparatus that we have here. And you guys know that's happening more and more with the acquisition of all of these studios that are happening right now, all through on behest of Israel. That's happening right now. So we call it HOLLYWOKE. What does it mean to be woke? It means to basically be in line. So being in line means you don't want to lose your manager, you don't want to lose your representation, you don't want to lose your job. So you got to shut up, get in line, put on a mask, get on all fours for your audition, and hope that you get the casting. So all that stuff. So you guys know. So now that I have everything ready, let's go ahead and get to HOLLYWOKE. 1 second, guys. Making sure all our tech is lined up. We're all good to go. Okay. Okay, here we go. Time for this week in HOLLYWOKE. Here comes okay, got the opening. Here we go. Oh, there was a reset here. I see what happened. Okay. Let me make sure I got the right banner. Okay. I think there might have been a little reset that took place on StreamYard. Okay, I think we're good. We did not lose the connection. Okay, perfect. Let's get ahead now to HOLLYWOKE. Here we go. This week in HOLLYWOKE, it's award season again. And do we care? Not really at all. The first big one happened last weekend. We have the Golden Globes. I know a lot of you guys don't give a crap. We don't either. However, what is important is the wokeness of Hollywood and how that's been very apparent over this last decade, particularly since the Me Too movement. Every year, what was allowed, what was not allowed, the things you were allowed to pretend to be mad at or kind of posturize, whether it was De Niro with the fuck Trump stuff or whatever the thing was. One thing that was not allowed. And by the way, it was also the DEI that we've had a massive problem with DEI, messing up storytelling, messing up productions, messing up voices that aren't authentic anymore because you have to check all these boxes. So you guys know how that goes. We also have AI. AI is a major problem. Everybody's suffering from this. And I think all of those things coming together in a time where I do think that the tide is changing. So the tide is changing here in Hollywood. It's the beginning of 2026. This is officially the first award weekend with the Golden Globes. Nikki Glaser, you guys might not have heard of her. Who cares? Comedy Central, comedian, whatever. Every once in a while, you get a comedian that calls it as it is, whether it's a Ricky Gervais or us. Every once in a while. I mean, you guys know Dave Chappelle. He's been pretty big on calling things out. We always reference, George Carlin. He's always a great reference for us as far as calling out the two-party duopoly. So these are the reasons why it's important once in a while to tune in. So Nikki Glaser, is she up on that level? Time will tell. But she did manage to get a few little jabs in at the right spots. over this weekend. To start off, as the host of the Golden Globes, here are two important back-to-back moments right here that were at the top of the show. Very important, because I wouldn't have guessed that you could get away with this during in the last few years. But I think the tide might be changing. Check it out. Let's see what you guys think. But here's Nikki Glaser calling out Epstein and CBS. Very cool. Here we go.
Believe the amount of star power we have in this room tonight. It's insane. There's so many A-listers, and by A-listers I do mean people who are on A-list that has been heavily redacted, but yes,
it took them a little while, but they got it. And again, this tide is turning here, and maybe it has to do with the fact that a lot of people in that room might think that Epstein is a unique Trump problem. But what she did here is she made it an everybody problem. That's the change here. Generally, it would be like a De Niro F Trump situation. When you put De Niro up there, he wouldn't know how to connect the dots. What she's doing, she's seeing everybody in this room is guilty. That's what she's saying. A lot of people on this A list, and when she says A list, she means list that's been redacted. So it's not. So it goes beyond Trump, and that's very important. And seeing that tide change. I don't think they were expecting that, but there's more. Oh my God, the Bill Maher cut. Genius to get Bill Maher in that shot. Genius. I love it. Just cutting to him, oddly, looking very odd and uncomfortable for that brief moment. But there's more.
and the Golden Globe for Best Editing goes to the Justice Department. Yes, congratulations.
Okay, there's her little. She gave a little, gave him a little nugget. So anyone who wants to have their Trump derangement syndrome, they can have it and say, "Oh, it was uniquely this Justice Department, not the previous 4 years with Biden, who also had nothing to do, didn't want to do anything with Epstein." But again, her joke up front is important, saying that people in this room are tied to that. That's the point, and that's what we know about Hollywood, HOLLYWOKE, that there's a definite connection with Epstein. We know for a fact. Absolutely. Okay. And there's more. We're gonna get in. She's gonna move over into calling out the actual studios for primarily CBS. It's good, guys. You haven't seen it. This is a good one.
And the award for most editing goes to CBS News. Yes. CBS News, America's newest place to see BS News.
There it is. And they can cut to anybody laughing, smiling, whether they get the joke or not. But that's definitely calling out the Zionist takeover on CBS. That's what we're talking about. We're not just talking about incompetent new staff that can't get the ratings. She's talking about the top editing award. She's talking about fake news. That's what she's talking about. The fake news. This is something that you had been accused of being a Trumper a few years back, and you couldn't get away with this in this room. You couldn't be saying fake news jokes in regards to, especially a network that generally hasn't had a history, of doing, of being aligned with something where you would call it out. CBS was supposed to be on the side of, we have to stop Trump. That's how it used to be, right? On the side of CNN, and when people believed in sides. But we're in a new time where it's not about sides anymore. It's about calling out the BS as you see it. So I liked what she did there. And in reference to CBS, this is what she was referring to. If you guys know. And Sean King did a whole thing on this, that the editor-in-chief of a large Israeli newspaper, and they love to say the truth out loud in Israel. All you got to do, if you guys want anything in Hebrew, they always tell the truth in Hebrew, always. And their newspaper says that Barry Wise and CBS are doing more for Israel than most of us in Israel. And that's a reflection on the power of the media, the power of a studio like CBS. That's what this editor-in-chief is saying to the people in Israel. That's how much of a impact it makes to own a news company. And so to call that out in Hollywood is kind of a big deal. So very cool of her for doing that. Now, of course, Barry Wise isn't the greatest manager of the studio. She doesn't know how to get, she doesn't know talent when she doesn't know if it hits her on the face. She happened to think this idiot, Tony, you can't even pronounce his name, Dokupil. She happened to think he was a great vibe for the evening news. Apparently not. People stopped watching right away. A drop of 11%, almost 1/5 of the viewership they lost on the evening news. And you guys know CBS Evening News used to be a staple of actual news when the Walter Cronkite days. So those days are long gone. Those days are long gone. So CBS Evening News, this idiot lost them their ratings about 1/5 in just 4 days. That actually happened. So when we talk about the climate changing in this room, it certainly is. There's things that were not allowed to happen before, and they're happening now. And I think actors are starting to care less about consequences. They're starting to care less about consequences. Maybe it has to do with that AI is taking over more and that we're all going down with the ship anyways. So if you're on a sinking Titanic, let's make an analogy. Let's figure this out. I'm very curious about this because we won't be doing this segment forever. We won't be doing this series of This Week in Hollywood. If Hollywood goes up in flames, then it's over. Game's over. So we'll move on to other stuff. But right now, it does feel like the analogy is we are on a sinking Titanic. And this is the moment of realization when you realize that there's no coming off of this. So is that in the regards to AI taking everyone's job? So it doesn't matter who put up enough Israel flags to get a job. It doesn't matter. The next Gal Gadot there's not going to be another Gal Gadot. We might be at the end of it. She got handpicked right out of the IDF, career overnight. 10 years later, she's got a star on Hollywood Boulevard. She's the worst actress we've seen ever. You guys know Gal Gadot and her history of bad acting. Can't even understand when she talks. Nobody cares because she did everything right, represented Israel. It seems that doesn't matter if everyone's going down now. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to fake it anymore. You can be like Javier Bardem, who is officially now on the blacklist of Paramount. You see him on like with the fist. This is for Palestine, free Palestine. He's got the gear on, and he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't. That he got blacklisted. Why would you get blacklisted by Paramount? Because Paramount's owned by Larry Ellison, and he literally has a blacklist of actors who are speaking out. And I'm sure Nikki Glaser might be next on that list just for telling that joke about his pride and joy, CBS and Paramount, which is what she just joked about at this awards. Javier Bardem, Academy Award winner, doesn't care. He doesn't care. So this is good. The tides are changing. We're not quite there yet. There's guys that we really want to just get it right, and they fall a little short. I'm talking about someone we're kind of tight with. It's Mark Ruffalo. He's so close, man. He was at the Golden Globes, and he's so close to the wake up moment, the moment where you realize that both parties are 100% captured, and it's the same mechanism that plays us both. But he's still stuck in a little Trump derangement syndrome. But I am happy at least that he's saying that the awards aren't really they don't really mean much. And he's saying this because there's other things going on in the world that are just more important right now. And that takes a little courage to do that. So let's hear Mark Ruffalo on the red carpet, or between, I don't know if it's before or after the event with Nikki Glaser, but yeah, he had something to say. He's so close. He's so close.
What's the pin? This is for Renee Nicole Good, who was murdered. We have a vice president who's lying about what's happening. We have we're in the middle of a war with Venezuela that we illegally invaded. He's telling the world that international law doesn't matter to him. The only thing that matters to him is his own morality. But the guy is a convicted felon.
Oh, we just lost it. Dude, you were doing so good. You were doing so good. The felons, that was all distraction. That's not real. But you hit that. You started out so good. Don't please get out. Please, man. We need you to call out the whole thing, man. Come on. Don't get stuck on Trump is uniquely evil, and we need to get things back the way they were. Please, man.
Convicted rapist, he's a pedophile, he's the worst human being in the world. If we're relying on this guy's morality for the most powerful country in the world, then we're all in a lot of trouble. So this is for her, this is for the people in the United States who are terrorized and scared today. Yeah. I know I'm one of them. I love this country, and what I'm seeing here happening is not America. It's just not.
But it is America. That's the problem, Mark. It is. It's been America the whole time. This is just, it's just so loud and in our face that we can see it close up now. And we're holding this mic. The one thing we can give Trump credit for is he's holding a loudspeaker to the amplifier, right, where you amplify the noise, or he's giving us all magnifying glasses and saying, put this up to your eye so you can see everything and you can be amplified in your ear at the same time. That's what's happening. So he's not gonna, he's so close, but that would be, how key would that be if he could connect that at the end here?
Mark, why do you feel that this platform is still useful to spread a message like this?
Listen, I want to pretend like this is, I want to be here to celebrate, and I am here to celebrate, and I'm proud to have a Golden Globe nomination. But also, this is not normal anymore. And so I don't know how I could be quiet. And I'm feeling a little sick, so it's hard to BS right now. So.
Well, he's certainly not BSing. I'll give him that. He did not get in. He's not like coming up with a thing to look good, or he doesn't care. So that's what he does have in common with Javier Bardem. He doesn't care. And he's saying, I'm not trying to use my platform to be political. He's saying, I don't really care about this award. I don't care about this event. I don't even want to be here right now. That's what he's saying. And I believe him. He's so close connecting it all. He might get there one day, but like, this is so again, the tide is turning. We're not quite there yet. We're close, but will we get there? That's really a question. Will we actually get there? I don't know, because I'm seeing this again. I think it's AI. That's the Titanic that we're on. That's the analogy. The Titanic is sinking. AI is going to take everyone's job. There will be no more Mark Ruffalo. There will only be Hulk. Do you see what I'm saying? There will only be Hulk. You don't. Oh, we'll still bring Mark Ruffalo in to do the Bruce Banner bit between Hulk. No, Bruce Banner will also be Hulk. You guys understand this, right? There's only going to be Hulk. That's all there's going to be. So this is the sinking Titanic. And I think that we should end this HOLLYWOKE. Again, there's a lot can happen this year. Who knows what's going to happen throughout this year, but we're in award season. There's more to come. Hopefully more celebrities will say, I don't give an F, and I will come out. I don't care if I don't get another job. I'm going to speak out. That'll be awesome. And we will cover it if it happens. But the AI thing, make no mistake, this is the ticking time bomb. This is the ticking time bomb. We're not prepared for how quickly production pipelines are going to change with AI. Some of the latest video models have immediate implications for Hollywood. Endless character swaps at a negligible cost. So I'm going to play for you guys this little video that I don't know who made it. I don't know if Justine Moore made it, but she found it. Maybe the Twitter account is embedded in it. She's saying it down here. It's Eder Xavier 3D from Instagram. So she snagged it from Instagram. And what he's using, it's called Kling Motion Control. And just watching this video, you guys will start to understand why none of this isn't going to matter anymore. Whether you're Mark Ruffalo, whether you're Millie Bobby Brown coming up on Netflix, Stranger Things, season 5, all these people that were not known 5, 6, 7 years ago are now household names. Might be the last of their kind. They might be the last of their kind. It's over. It's over. Watch this and then tell me that you still think there's going to be a new wave of Millie Bobby Browns in the next Netflix generation, or do you think it's over? I think it's over. Check this out. want to see that again? Were you guys fooled? Did you think that was Millie at first? And then you realize the guy in the box at the bottom is doing all this from his effing living room? Are you getting this? One more time. And I'm gonna have to edit the sound out in on YouTube. They're not gonna like the theme song. But you guys on Rumble can hear the theme song. That's fine. That's it. And there's a hand wave from what's his name? David, whatever the hell his name. He's in an Avengers movie now. Whatever. Who cares? Again, it's all going to be Hulks from here on out. That's all you're going to get is Hulks. So, Nikki Glaser, you know, she's not a Dave Chappelle. She's not certainly no George Carlin. But she might be all we have right now in these final waning years of as the Titanic ship goes down. You know, let's see if there's any more people like Nikki Glaser giving us something to call out as the ship sinks. And that is this week in HOLLYWOKE. Okay. Let's do this right now. I have we're gonna have Leslie come in and do some talking back with you guys. Actually, let me see. We might want to bring her in. I had another little transition video to play, but give me a thumbs up, Leslie. You want to do it now or you want to wait 5 minutes? I don't know if you can see it. Oh, 5 minutes. We'll go 5. We'll go 5. Okay. Okay. We got a here we go. Yeah, I want you guys to see this one. We're gonna take, or if you need to go grab a bathroom or something, it's all good. Let me make sure I got it queued up. And we will be right back. Where did it go? 1 second, guys. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. This is a message from an Iran royal in Iran leader. His name's Reza Pahlavi, and he's going to tell you guys, pay attention, because you might not have ever seen this vantage point before from Iran. He's going to educate you on the thing that we've been deliberately not hearing about in our country our entire lives, about what's really happening in Iran. So pay attention. You don't have to take it for 100% face value, but it is interesting that we are deprived this information our entire education lives, our entire childhood to adulthood. We don't get access to this, but now we do. So here you guys go. Hear from him himself, and we'll see you guys back. Get ready for Talking About. We'll be back in about I think it's 4. How long is this one? We'll give you guys a little. Yeah, we'll give you guys a little bit. 4 minutes. Check this out. We'll see you guys back here soon. Here we go.
To all of our friends around the world, under the yoke of the Islamic Republic, Iran is identified in your minds with terrorism, extremism, and poverty. The real Iran is a different Iran, a beautiful, peace-loving, and flourishing Iran. It is the Iran that existed before the Islamic Republic, and it is the Iran that will rise again from its ashes the day the Islamic Republic falls. So let me be clear about how a free Iran will act towards its neighbors and the world after the fall of this regime. In security and foreign policy, Iran's nuclear military program will end. Support for terrorist groups will cease immediately. A free Iran will work with regional and global partners to confront terrorism, organized crime, drug trafficking, and extremist Islamism. Iran will act as a friend and a stabilizing force in the region, and it will be a responsible partner in global security. In diplomacy, relations with the United States will be normalized and our friendship with America and her people will be restored. The state of Israel will be recognized immediately. We will pursue the expansion of the Abraham Accords into the Cyrus Accords, bringing together a free Iran, Israel, and the Arab world.
Here we go, guys. Okay, there was a response video, and I didn't queue it up, that I was meaning to, the response to this video. I kind of did not, I kind of botched that one, guys. He was doing the propaganda. There was a response video, and I downloaded the wrong one, and I needed to double check that one first. So that's my bad. As you can tell by listening to the beginning of that, that was the Israel state media coming at you. There was a leader responding to this that I failed to grab the clip, and it was really, really good. And it's really too bad I grabbed the wrong clip. So you guys, lesson to you guys, always double check before you throw something out on a live, or even if you post, whatever you guys are doing, if you're posting something, always do a double check. Even Twitter lets you do an edit within an hour. If you didn't know that, you should. It's a good system, just in case you happen to put the wrong thing up, or the wrong credit, or you left out a thing, or whatever. You have to do a little correction. So in this case, there was a response to this, and it downloaded the main one. This is the guy this is the guy that's trying to normalize what we're doing. I will find this thing. I don't know if I can do it this second, but I will find this thing and get it to you, because it's very important when we recognize when we are being propagandized, and always look for the alternate response. It's very important. We got to see, you can't just take for face value. And this is why it's so important that we have relationships with other news networks. We have obviously you guys know we have relationships with RT and TRT World and these other organizations outside of the US. Very, very important. But when you see infiltration like that, that is designed to tell us that that Trump is doing the right thing to come in here, and we need voices from outside entity to actually, you know what we're gonna do? I got it now. We're gonna talk to you guys first. Again, I apologize for that clip, but guess what? I think I figured out. I think I figured out how we're gonna redo this. After talking back, we're gonna do a loudest voice, and I'm gonna get the correct response to that, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be worth it. So we'll hold off on that when I set it up, and you guys are gonna get the loudest voice after this next segment right now. So we are reset now. I think I told you guys 4 minutes. That was about 2.5, 3 minutes ago. So let me just make sure we're all set for Leslie, and we'll edit that one out. We're obviously not going to be uploading that anyway, so it's all good. Let me go ahead and put the right banner on here, and we'll get to you guys. And if you're just stumbling on us, it's the Homeless Left, the non-tribal approach to news. Let's get ready to talk to you guys. We call this segment Talking Back, and Talking Back means that we're going to bring Nurse Leslie in here in a second to talk to you guys and respond to your comments. If you guys want to do any super chats or Rumble rants, you get cut to the front of the line. That's how it works. So we'll keep an eye on you guys. And you guys know how that works, right? If you go on Rumble, it's a Rumble rant. It helps us out, and then it brings you guys to the front, and we'll definitely share your comment and respond to it ASAP. You'll kind of just kind of move to the front. And the same thing on YouTube, where we have super chats. You can do the same thing there, and we'll move you to the front. These are the channels, in case you guys, if you didn't know, now you know. It's the Homeless Left on Rumble, and we have THL Presents on YouTube. You can even throw it up on X if you'd like. We'll see those two. We're all linked together, and we're using the StreamYard service here, which links them all together. We decided not to do Facebook today. Didn't want to bother with it. It's sketchy over there right now. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out we might have something like a shadow ban on the account there. So, and we just barely started it anyway. So it doesn't matter. Who cares? X, YouTube, Rumble. Get ready, guys. for some talking back, let's go ahead and do the little jingle, and we'll bring her in. Here we go. Hey, Leslie.
Hi, everyone. You can hear me well?
We got you loud and clear. Happy New Year as far as having you back on. I think it's your first appearance this year, right? For 2026.
It is. I think I was last on December 18th or something. Yeah, it's been some weeks. So happy to be here. Hi to everyone. I'm so excited to read some of these comments, and I've missed you all. It's so cool that I get to talk to some of you over Twitter and email. If you haven't added me, please go ahead. I can type all my stuff in a bit. Hi, Sam. Hope you're doing well on the other side of the world. Really cool. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and let people know the episode. We basically call this thing Battlefield Earth, all of the different chaos going around the globe at the same time. We got Greenland, mess in Greenland. We got Venezuela, obviously, the people standing up, want their president back. All of our little maneuvers, economic maneuvers with the oil deals, all on behest of Israel. We know about the Greater Israel Project and the plot in Iran to take over Iran. We didn't cover Argentina today, but we call that on Tuesday. So you guys know that it's just all over the place. And then on the home front, this is the most important part, that the thing that we thought was happening over there is happening here. We told you guys the way they police Palestinians, the way they parking lot you. It seems like that's happening here in Minneapolis is a absolute telltale of what is coming here in every city now that we have this insurrection act that Trump is threatening to put into every city right now because of what's happening with ICE. So all of it's happening at the same time. It's total chaos. But I'll pass to you, Leslie, and we'll see how the viewers are responding to all this madness happening at the same time.
lots of madness, and as you guys can probably see, I'm a brown girl. I'm Latina, and I am a little nervous. God forbid one of these guys stop me or women stop me in the street and start asking me questions. In the beginning, I was like, I would love to waste their time and for them to take me in for questioning and whatever. But now I'm scared. It's scary. I'm horrified. And I hope they never stop me, or even worse, my family, my elderly mother and father, my father who's very sick. That would be a nightmare. And I hope that never happens, but I'm very scared about that. So I'm going to start at the top, of course, with Citizen on YouTube. I know you read this already. It was about 12:30, this one, but I'll read it again. Thank you for the support, Citizen. I never got his name. Do you know his name? I know we talked offline, I think.
Yeah, I think oh man,
Tell us your name again. He says, what do we want at Jake GTV? When do we want it split in two, in the middle of the show and at the end? Thank you for the support. As always, we appreciate it. And
we did play the middle one. We played the 4-minute, and we thought that was pretty powerful. I hope Jake GTV guys, they're more power. Honestly, they're more powerful when they're short, when they're like 4 minutes. But this one was a 12-minute, or I don't know. It gets a little, but as filmmakers, we know there's a way you can consolidate and make your point with less time sometimes, whatever. But hey, it was a good one. It was definitely a good one. Thanks, Citizen.
Thank you, Citizen. This one, Z Sarita, thank you so much. Appreciate this channel, Shizas. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this one as well at 12:40. My gut feeling: Zionists could always rely on the corporate media to vomit their BS Hasbara verbatim, thus keeping citizens in the dark. Absolutely, I agree with you. Thank you. To Craig William 5581. I think I've seen you on YouTube before. Thanks for tuning in. Also, Vincent Brown Scott 4610, Bill Brett 365. Really cool to have you guys tune in. Thank you for the support. Let's see. I'll click this one. Jill Abraham 8202. ICE agents trained in Israel with a psychopathic, lawless, non-human IDF. Yes, that's what they are. That says everything. The U.S. even has ICE office in Tel Aviv. You told me that, Matt. You told me this a long time ago. My God.
Yeah, the Homeland Security account.
Why am I so shocked?
The Homeland Security account was started in Tel Aviv in 2009, and Elon accidentally let the cat out of the bag, because he was trying to have, he said it was for transparency, but what was going on was we woke up one morning and everybody's Twitter account said where they were. And it said, this is your location. And the point of that is so they can track us. But he said it was because we want to make sure that we can tell fake accounts. But no, it's really actually to track all of us. So when you tweet, they know exactly where you are. Problem is, a big account like the Homeland Security account, which was started in 2009, oopsie, now everybody knows that it says originated in Tel Aviv. Everybody saw it. Everyone screen grabbed that shit. And Elon took it down an hour. It was up for an hour. It was gone. And now when you go there, it says it started in the US. They're lying. It was Tel Aviv. So it's funny how that works. Every once in a while, they reveal that stuff. But there's a reason it was started in Tel Aviv, because our entire operating apparatus of Homeland Security, the whole idea when the Patriot Act started, and what we're seeing right now with ICE, everything's connected to surveillance state, which comes from Israel. And like is said here by Jill Abraham says to us, yes, absolutely. The ICE agents, they train in. That's how it is, and our cops do too. All of our
police force as well, right? Yeah.
All the police do. They all train. The major cities, they fly them out to Israel. The ones that the LAPD, the NYPD, and the Chicago PD get taxpayer funded trips to Tel Aviv to train with the IDF, and then come back and wreak havoc in all of our neighborhoods. And
our communities.
Most of our police brutality has come from that type. And we never knew that. We never talked about that before. We always, LA cops, they're just racist, right? They're just racist cops, right? No, they were trained to do that. This isn't a bad apple. We thought the whole thing with Rodney King was about, these are just racist. How do they get like that? It's a training. The whole thing was training the whole time.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, I just got a notification on my phone and I cannot believe. I'll tell you later. I'll tell all of you later. Okay. And speaking of that place and that word, don't a lot of people also go there, Matt, when they're being prosecuted for really horrible things here in the United States? People that have done really bad things to children, and I can't even say the word. So I'm going to get in trouble, maybe. I don't know.
They have a sanctuary in Israel.
And by the way, I don't know why my algorithm is doing this, but on my social media, I keep getting ads to go visit this place in the Middle East that used to be Palestine, the whole thing, to buy apartments. There's housing and healthcare. I keep getting like these beautiful flourish thing about how great Israel is, and if you want to come visit, like why am I getting these? I keep saying not interested, not interested, not interested, and I keep getting them.
Wait, hold on. This is interesting. So you just started getting these notices. Is it around the time that you had the little name change? Is that?
I don't know. Yeah, they're more recent, I suppose.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure out, because yes, you might be being targeted right now as a potential as a potential.
Oh, it just feels like, hey, we can change your mind. And I said no.
No, good for you. I mean, it's not even obviously it's not a question. You would just here, go take someone's house. We're just giving away houses.
I'll be a colonizer. No.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. A great Grapentine 739. Trump is a puppet like senile Genocide Joe and Netanyahu. They are tools of the ruling class empire mongers or managers. Thank you, Grapevine. I don't know if I've read your name in the past, so thanks for tuning in. Thank you for the comments. This one as well. We need to stop participating with the system, but it must be collective. Take a few sick days off of work. Stop buying and selling, maybe more. We need a different set of strategies. Speaking of work, it looks like a major hospital in the United States has just issued another strike, FYI, to the corporation, Matt, and it starts in 10 days. Oh, boy.
Oh.
That hospital is going on strike again.
It's official?
It is official. I was just told on a text.
Well, we might have to do a follow-up on that one.
Yes, and it's not a 5-day strike. It is an indefinite strike.
Well, I told you, I think our audience would agree. I told you that when you're a corporation, you go on. Well, when the union, this is about the organizing, right? So how did the organizing miss it the first time? When you organize and you tell the shareholders and CEOs, hey, we're going to take everybody. No one's going to show up to work. but we're only going to do it for 5 days. That could be a problem, right? Because then they will make up for those. They'll go, oh, we'll just go outsource what we need for 5 days and we'll be good. So I was thinking that should have been a indefinite the whole time. You just kind of you're wasting your time. And this to any union organizer out there, I'm just telling you, you're wasting your time if you're gonna tell everyone you're only gonna do a limited strike, because then they'll just make up those days. They'll just go outsource and overspend and not really give a crap. But when you say indefinite, that could be good. It sucks in the sense that it's very it messes you up, but that's what we sign up for when we go and organize and we go out there. I mean, look at everyone in Minneapolis that are literally messed up right now for just getting out there. So it does take a toll on you, but I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm like, okay, I'm glad. I hope it's better than the last time, right? That's what I'm hoping.
I think it will be, and there's going to be a lot of pressure, but that's
okay.
I want to learn more.
Learn more.
Another conversation.
We'll get to it. Yeah.
Let's see. Christian, Christina Tillman, thank you for tuning in. Excellent info. Let's see this one. Both sides are a psyop to provoke the voting base. Oh yeah, absolutely. They always sheep herd us back into voting, back into the system. Yes, so we got to rebel or get a general strike going. Speaking of strikes, thank you, Grapentine 739. And Herb Green right now just says, grapes, that's my boy. Thanks for the comments, guys. To Victory Jin, welcome and thank you. Mike Hawk as well. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. TTWSUF, free Palestine. Yes.
Yes.
Let's see this one. Joe Anthony 7759. Neither Russia or China are going to bother Greenland. Trump's a lying, fear-mongering jackass. Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's see. I'll read this one. Ned Milburn, look at Venezuela leader from 2008 or 2009 expressing support for Palestine.
Well, that's okay. And that's the part our audience, our viewers know this, but the mainstream ain't going to tell you that Maduro and Chavez adamantly spoke against Zionism, adamantly was against it. Not just 2008, 2000. So that would have been Chavez in 2008, 2009. That's Maduro now, before up until him being kidnapped on January 3rd. He was adamantly against Zionism and saying we have to stop this thing. And so this was the part we don't. A lot of people, if they're not paying attention, they don't know that that's totally related. This is the same thing with the Colombian president Petro. He's the same thing he's saying right now, that it's not just a gang of Zionists, they're a gang of pedophiles. That's what he's saying. And they're running everything. They're running the Western war machine. The imperialist machine is being run by these people. And we have to stand up against it. And the Colombian president says, we will go down fighting. And Maduro, this guy he's got some courage. And I'm telling you, the guy was dancing and singing, let there be peace on earth, or whatever. He was singing, don't worry, be happy. And people think, he didn't see it coming. He knew we were coming to take him, and he didn't care. He said, I'm on the right side of history. So come get me. Come get me. And that's how you do it when you have courage and principle. But yes, make no mistake, guys, the stance on Israel affects your relationship with the U.S. 100%. If you stand up against Israel, we're going to come and get you. We're going to come and get you. So, yeah.
Okay, let's go back. Sorry, I'm a little distracted because this is big news that I keep getting bombarded. It looks like it's going to news outlets too. There's a lot of things rumbling right now. Rumble. Okay. This one by Ned Milburn. Sorry, fires lit by Israelis in Argentina. Has it been confirmed that these group of men did this? Linked to a new rule by Javier Milei allowing foreigners to buy land that was destroyed by forest fire.
Yes.
Makes me think about the LA fires, huh?
Yeah, we covered this pretty well. I'm actually pretty happy because we just got the news on Monday evening. We discovered this Monday evening. We put this thing together just in time for Tuesday's show, And it's there. We already upload. You guys can go check it out. It's on our Rumble channel right now. It's on YouTube. When we're done, just go to the most recent videos and you'll see the Argentina coverage. And it's all true. It all checks out. Multiple sources confirming this, and the Western media is ignoring it. But the whole point is that Israel wants Argentina also. That was always the point. It was a ploy they wanted to do after World War II. They got it was their second plan. Their first plan was take Palestine. They got their first plan to happen, but they never took their eyes off of that beautiful southern forest in Argentina that they wanted it. They wanted it, and they're getting it. And the way you get it is you rig the system. You get the president Javier to redo a law and allow outsiders to purchase not just land. The law is you can purchase burnt land specifically from fires. And he did that 1 month ago. And then all of a sudden there were 2 Israelis setting that forest on fire, and it's all on camera. And it's 100% checks out. And if you report on it, you get called anti-Semitic. And the people in the streets right now in Argentina are demanding, get out of our country. You do not belong. This is our land. We do not want the same fate as Palestine. And that will be their fate. If you allow this to happen, you allow them to take the southern part of your country, they won't stop there. And this is not anti-Semitic thinking. This is critical thinking. You look at the history and the behavior and you apply it to what will happen. It's make no mistake. This is why they're in the street right now in Argentina. Chile, our citizens are also in the street for this because they're right there neighboring. And the Western media won't even tell you this is happening. So thanks for sharing this. If you guys missed our Tuesday spot, go back and watch that segment. It's up on Rumble and on YouTube right now as soon as we get off.
I just found a really nice comment from Herb Green on Rumble. We need to bring the YouTube chat group over here to Rumble. Solid group over there. I agree with you, Herb Green. They're cool peeps over there.
Yeah, no, but it's good that we share both sides. So if you're on one, you don't know that there's a whole nother group on the other side, and we're seeing both. So we want you guys to know, yeah, you're welcome on either of them. But yeah, it's cool. Or it could be like our hardcore viewers have 2 windows open at once, right? And you have both chats going at the same time, so you can see what what's everyone's talking about.
Yeah, let me breeze through some of these.
Okay.
TTWSUF. Does that stand for something? BRICS is just another oppression for small countries. Multipolar world, another cute word. Yeah. Let's see. JW Cloud 1 on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. I'll read this one. And on user 5860, death and destruction is only way capitalism profits, of course. Only possible way left. Basic math. Thank you for your comment. Anon user. This one I thought was funny too. Herb Green, the age of I don't give a F is upon us. Let's see. Wu Jen at 217. No one in their right mind would trust that maniac with a loaded firearm. Yet we are allowing him to have the equivalent of digital nuclear weapons. Thank you, Wu Jen. Let's see. Anon user, more profit, more laws. USA was created on the corpses of millions of my indigenous people, guys, and broken bodies of millions of slaves. Agree with you, Anon user. Thank you for that. Ooh, we have Jungle Jare. Sweet, great timing. Hello, homeless friends. And he means homeless right, homeless left, homeless wherever you're from, whatever you used to believe in, what you still believe in. Thank you for tuning in, Jungle Jare. This guy is so cool. Chick, I'm not sure, Nylem, always supporting us like this. Thank you. Let's see. Someone needs to attach a bill taker to this machine so I can donate to the homeless left. Thank you, Herb Green. Black Spock 135, thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Utopians as well. CIA Mossad terrorism. Kathy Lloyd on YouTube. It backfired with a little help from Russia. I don't know about China. Long-time listener. I don't think I've read your comment. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Porn as per the logic of the big tech plurocrats. Thank you for your comment. Let's see. Berry 69. Venezuela is more united to fight Trump. Kathy Lloyd, thanks for tuning in. YouTube, I like Kathy's comment. Instead of CBS, it's ZBS, Matt.
Yeah. It is ZBS. That was, I think Garland Nixon came up with that one, and ZNN is a good one too.
ZNN.
But if you heard Nikki Glaser, that was a great joke she made at the Golden Globes last weekend when she said, CBS is, what did she say? Is that it's the new place for Americans to see BS.
To see BS. Perfect.
Yeah, very good.
Oh, like this one, longtime listener. I see BS on ABC, NBC, CNN, and Fox. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Long time. Exactly.
I'm going to screenshot that. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ironically, you could say Israelis in Israel are actually doing the least for Israel. I thought this comment was interesting. In fact, they're actively harming Israel through their aggression, shamelessness, and lack of self-awareness. I thought this a long time ago. Like, you guys really don't care about people having a speck of sympathy for you guys. Like, do you guys even care about being liked by other people in the world? They don't care. They don't care. Okay. Okay. Let's see. And there's some new comments I haven't even looked at, but we can end now. This Long Meadow, nice to see you here. Argentina becoming Israel Tina. Let's see. Right. Yeah, we'll end it here. Thank you guys so much for all your wonderful comments. I'm having fun as always. Thank you for having me, Matt, and thank you all for your support. I will see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Leslie.
And we'll update you guys with the stuff I'm just learning right now.
We'll have updates.
It's interesting. The people I know that work in these big hospital chains and corporations. We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Take care, Leslie. We'll see you next time.
Bye, Matt. Thank you. Bye, guys.
All right, guys. Let's see. I think we might be able to do this. Yeah, man. We had a lot of moving around stuff, and didn't have everything fully prepared here. When we started today, there was a lot of moving parts today. I'm thinking, based on where we are right now, here's what I want to do. Because I have this pretty awesome. This is worth its own segment. We're gonna do this, and I'm glad we didn't do it as a break. We need to do this as its own segment. Okay. I came up with an executive decision now. For those of you just joining us, thank you so much. The Homeless Left on Rumble. I'm going to end on YouTube. It's THL Presents on YouTube. And if you guys would throw any more comments or anything up on the show at this point on, I'll try and throw them up at the end of the show. Okay, so we're gonna delay a few things till Tuesday. The first thing is we did promise an in-depth on Scott Adams. I want to get that right. It's not fully 100% prepared today, and I want it to be really good because we've been following him the whole time, and as you guys know, he did pass away from cancer. We just found out during our Tuesday show, so that this just happened, and there's a history there from Scott Adams of saying that the anti-vaxxers got it right. They win. He used words like, "They win. We lost. You won." And it's worth a look back with him. So we're gonna hold that one off till Tuesday, unfortunately. But it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. The other executive decision I'm gonna make is because I didn't pull the right clip earlier. It's going to be this is going to be an in-depth. It's a battle that took place on a European news network. And it's a good one. It's worth its own segment. We're going to do it for Loudest Voice of the Week. And then the other thing we're pushing to next week is, yet again, I wanted to do a top 5 look back at the top loudest voices of the year. We'll push that again. We're going to push that yet again to next Tuesday, but it will be good. I promise you guys it'll be good. So I got this loudest voice queued up, and we're just going to end with that. And I promise we'll do a good one on well, Tuesday's going to be a great show because we're actually we're going to see if we can reschedule this interview with Jose Vega. I mentioned that at the top of the show. We might have him on Tuesday, and we can do that then because he's in the middle of a pretty intense campaign out in New York, and it's really important. We want to hear from him and everything that's been going down. So we'll try and lock that in for Tuesday as well. So it's going to be a big one. And then hopefully we have Pasta back because he's been out and we've been trying to help him out on his show, the Pasta to Go show. We had all these interviews lined up. So maybe we can get, you know what? Maybe we can get Pasta and Jose together. The three of us can hash it out next Tuesday, and we'll get to these other ones. So I'm just talking things out. And then if I don't remember to say this when we close, I will say it now. You can see me on tomorrow, a very special fundraiser event that's going on, TLAV. That's the Last America Vagabond. It starts at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow with Ryan Christian and Derek Bros. There's going to be a lot of cool people coming in and out. I got I'm humbled to be asked to come in with these guys. And I'm absolutely ready to come in and support, and I want you guys to support too. I think I'll be going in there somewhere around the second hour somewhere, but they'll be on tomorrow. So we'll see when I come in, and then you can catch me with Garland Nixon on his show. We have a show set up for tomorrow at 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern. So it's going to be a pretty good Friday and a weekend after that. So, okay. With that said, I think we're good. Yeah, I've talked it through. Thank you, guys. Let's go ahead and get to an additional loudest voice of the week, because we did one Tuesday. We're going to do one today, and we're going to do the top 5 of last year next week. Great. All right, we're all set. Here we go. It's time for part 2 this week of the loudest voice of the week. Here we go. It's the loudest voice of the week. Rarely do we get this opportunity to have such an accredited professor / I would say activist / I would even say journalist, because he goes on a lot of shows, and particularly he somehow gets on these Western media outlets and discusses what's really happening in Palestine, what's really happening in these Middle Eastern countries, and specifically because he's a professor of English and literature at the University of Tehran in Iran. He's exactly the guy you want to have representing the Iranian people right now. It gets no better than Syed Mohammed Marandi himself. He's going to be on this interview right now. And this woman, this newscaster, is dead set on putting him in his place. How dare you come on here and speak propaganda to our network? And he won't have it. He will fight back tooth and nail at her and call her for the liar she is. It's actually quite amazing battle to, I would say, like, it's a battle in the ring. It's like a punch. But spoiler alert, I believe the professor does win out at the end. Let's see if we can walk some of this through together. But these are the moments we live for here on the Homeless Left. Loudest voice of the week. Here we go.
Who governs in Iran and who doesn't?
The people on the streets in their thousands who are now being systematically slaughtered in their thousands, they are saying that your government no longer has the right to govern.
Yesterday, we saw rallies across the country, and the footage is online, and it was broadcast live, even though now people like Musk and others are trying to pretend it was AI.
No, these were people who
footage.
were forced to go out and protest, but people of their own free will bravely went out, and in return, the government, your government, has slaughtered them in their thousands. And for what?
There were 2.3 million people in Tehran yesterday on the streets.
2.3 million people that the Western media war machine, propaganda machine, deliberately ignored. She knows this, and I'm just surprised that, I don't know, because there's a lot of ego involved. If she's just louder than him, she'll have her audience on her side. But no, this is where he calls her out. No, those people, 2.3 million people, were there to protest us, the empire. That's what they were doing. Check it out.
And reporters from Al Jazeera English, Arabic, RT, CGTN, CCTV, and others.
RT, baby, and Al Jazeera. These are the again, I've talked to you guys about this. Don't rely on Western media outlets. God, no, please no. Like, hear what these other ones have to say, because they're going to tell you what's actually happening. But yeah, there's a shout out to RT there. Go ahead.
Mayadeen were there, and they witnessed it. How
Yeah.
can you force
These are
millions of people on the streets in
But because you
Tehran
instill
and other
fear
streets?
into the people of your country, your government instills fear into the people of your country.
I think that you are living in an alternative universe and you're drowning in your own fake narratives. If you think that the people of Iran support the MEK terror organization or the monarchists that your governments fund and support, I think you really know literally nothing about Iran.
Your government
The
says
Iran-
that 2,000 people are dead. Are you denying that?
Our government never made any statements about any death numbers at all. You're talking
It's been
about
reported
Reuters.
to Reuters.
It's been reported to Reuters. Okay. So where does Reuters get their information? Go on. Explain, please. I'm curious.
Our government does not report to Reuters, and Reuters constantly fabricates information about Iran, and it constantly says unnamed sources.
So the
They have
bodies
a long
piling up
history.
on the streets, that's all AI. That's all fake, is it?
There are no bodies piling up on the streets.
No bodies
And by
piling
the
up on the
way-
streets. We've
and
seen them
by
with
the
our
way-
own eyes.
And no, not on the streets. I live in Tehran.
Well, in the morgues,
And by
then.
the way,
Did you see that she just did a throwaway? Well, maybe not on the streets, but in the morgues. Major difference between how you paint the picture. She knows what she's doing, and she's lying on purpose, and he's not going to let her get away with it. Tell the audience that there's a difference between bodies lining up on dead bodies lined up on the streets and bodies in a morgue. It's a massive difference. Sound familiar, guys? Do you remember that? Do you remember that one during COVID? You remember bodies in the streets? I remember February of 2020, bodies in the streets in Italy. I remember that. I was like, what? That's weird. Why would you say that? Oh, we mean in the morgue. Okay, well, that's what she's doing here.
so then rephrase and don't produce propaganda. You're supposed to be a credible news outlet. 100 police officers, roughly, or officers of the law were murdered. 2 were burnt alive. 1 was beheaded. And we had a nurse burnt alive in a clinic. The clinic was burnt down and she was burnt. She was a young nurse. We had a 3-year-old kid who was shot by these rioters, or the people who you call protesters, and murdered in her father's arms. These are violent people.
Let me ask you, 26-year-old Irfan Soltani, 17-year-old Amir Ali Hidari, 28-year-old Naveed Salehi, these people have all been killed for the simple fact that they are demanding freedom and they're using their voices to demand freedom. That's the truth, isn't it?
I don't know the names that you give, and I don't know what happened to these people. I don't know if they exist or not. Just giving names doesn't mean anything.
Just giving names doesn't mean anything. Hell yeah. Like she's literally just reading off of a memo that was sent to her. So she just reads it. She doesn't know. There is no reference points to this. And that's what he's calling out. Her news sources are all fake. They're all CIA Mossad. Now, I don't think he's not going to be articulating. I hate to spoil it here. He's not going to be exactly bringing up Israel and Mossad here. He doesn't have to. I think that's how he gets on these networks. He doesn't necessarily have to mention them by name. But that's when he says that that Reuters is a fake organization that makes stuff up. That's what he means. That their job is to spin the story that the CIA and the Mossad want. So he doesn't actually have to say that CIA Mossad, but he can tell you that if you're watching this woman and you think she's a real news station, he's telling you you're wasting your time. It's all BS. That's what he's doing, and it's great. And she thinks she can counter him with her tone and her volume. It's not working.
Well,
But
they're
the fact
3 among
is that
thousands, and the executions begin tomorrow. And for what? For people wanting to use their voices to demand freedoms that you take for granted.
No, the people who will be executed, if they are convicted, are the people who burned people alive and who beheaded others. We had 100 police officers murdered, or officers of the law. And if one officer in the United States, it is deemed that the car in front of him may not be turning to the right enough, he can shoot the woman in the head, and people in the United States defend his right to kill her.
Absolutely right. Thank you for bringing this up. I didn't think he was going to bring this up because it's not an actual U.S. news network, but it's important that he gets this out there, because isn't that the contradiction? Isn't that really the problem? That we're supposed to buy this BS that we care about protesters in Iran. By the way, they are provocateurs. They are Mossad. We know this. Mossad is bragging about it. He doesn't have to say that part. It's not important in this conversation, but just so you guys understand, even if they were authentic, the irony here is that even if you give them the benefit of the doubt and it's not the Mossad doing it, that it's actual organic Iranian people, they just went crazy with their protests because they're so oppressed, and it was time to start murdering cops and beheading them. You want us to believe that we're on the side of those protesters who did that, who murdered cops, beheaded them, and we're coming to that's what we're doing. We're coming to the rescue to them. At the same time, we're cheering on a cop that had to shoot a woman in her face as she was trying to leave. She turned her wheel to the right to leave, and there's too many Americans, too many people believing that the cop had no other choice. This is the same people that are going to be for, let's go help Iran right now. Let's go help the people who are beheading cops. And then we know that's not even Iranians. Those are Mossad agents doing that. That's the tipper. That makes it even more insane. How this woman can sit here and do this job, whatever she gets paid to do this, is absolutely insane. You couldn't, as an actor, I would have to be like, okay, what villain role am I playing this time? Let me take some time to get into this insanity that you would sit here with lie after lie after lie. And the fact that he can keep his composure and smile his way through is saying a lot. And it's not this sinister smile like, you got me, I'm smiling. This is a smile of, are you effing kidding me? And it's his way of taking a breath so he doesn't lose his cool. But he's very good at that. That takes a lot of effort to keep your cool when this woman is just doing non-stop lying and propaganda and war pushing. But yeah, let's hear a little more of this. Here we go.
You're talking about 100 police officers.
Murdered.
I'm talking about thousands of protesters who were protesting peacefully, and for their pains, they have been slaughtered by the government, by your government. I mean, these are people protesting because they can't eat, they can't live. Inflation is running riot. They can't get on the internet. You're on the internet now. They can't do that. Why shouldn't they?
Well, excuse me, but I'm at a studio. I do not have internet. You know this.
So good point. Look at her trying to throw him like he has some special internet that no one else has. No, the studio is providing the line. He does not have internet. She knows this. Stop lying. He's going to call you out every time you lie. Stop lying.
You know this, so don't be dishonest. You've been dishonest more than once already. And if we have economic problems, it's because your government and the U.S. government have imposed sanctions on ordinary people. You are trying to strangle ordinary people. No, I'm talking. Excuse me.
No, the West is responding to the calls from the protesters who are risking their lives to go out on the street.
No,
that is why Donald Trump promised to offer help.
Well, you're aligned to Trump, obviously, now. But these are people who were rioting, and these were people who were shooting at police officers, and there's footage of it. And that footage is online, and it's on the accounts of many people, and people can see it. Mainstream media in the West, and obviously your media, since you are trying to create an environment for war and to justify illegal activity on behalf of your regime and the Trump regime, you're, of course, creating a narrative of thousands of peaceful protesters on the streets being slaughtered.
If you don't like my questions, Professor Marandi, let me put to you what the German Chancellor said. Friedrich Merz said, when a regime can only maintain power through violence, then it is effectively at its end. Do you accept your government is nearing its end? It's in the final days.
Now, this is an advanced move he's about to do, an advanced move. This is where he's going to hold her accountable for 2 of the lies that she already ran by. Again, more lying. He's going to back up and get her on those, and he's going to answer this Germany Chancellor BS line by exposing how heinous of a person they are, and the fact that he needs to take any of that seriously. And so the lie he's going to start with is, you don't get to say that I don't like your questions. That's not what's happening here. You're lying, and I'm responding to every one of your questions. That's the difference. So he's going to get her there, and then he's going to call out this Chancellor BS. I think the only thing he skipped over, unfortunately, because it was just too much. It was just too much BS from her. The one part he's missing, he talked about the sanctions. That's so important. The sanctions are so important because this was our policy. This is what Mike Pompeo told us back in 2019 during Trump's first term. He told us we're going to impose sanctions on Iran. We want to make the lives of Iranians uncomfortable. We want to make them impossible to live. That's what Mike Pompeo told us. So for her to ignore that part, he brought up this. So let's not forget about the sanctions. We create the environment. We want them to break. We want them to crack. We want them to overturn their own government. And when that doesn't happen, because that never does, it never works. By the way, it never works. They get out in the streets. They're protesting us. They're protesting us because they know that we did the sanctions. We did the sanctions. So, okay, take it away. Advanced move here from the professor, Mohammed Marandi. Go for it, Professor. Here we go.
First of all, who said that I'm afraid of your questions or I don't like your questions? Second of all, who makes the German Chancellor any more credible than you? The German Chancellor also said when the Israeli regime, the genocidal Israeli regime, bombed Iran while Iran was negotiating with the United States, he said, the Israelis do our dirty work for us. And this is the same German regime that gave Saddam Hussein chemical weapons to use against us.
Well,
I survived 2 of those chemical attacks.
The German Chancellor has been elected by his people. And you accused me of propaganda when many would accuse your government of propaganda day in, day out. So I just ask you again, is your government entering its final days?
No, and have no doubt that any strike on Iran, which is illegal, and obviously you're trying to promote it and to justify it, is illegal. And the Iranian people who've come to the streets yesterday to protest against the Western and Israeli-backed riot, we all know that Pompeo, who was the former head of the CIA, said that Mossad is on the ground with the rioters.
That's the thing. So that's the thing we have to recognize. And it was Pompeo, the same guy who told us we're going to make life hell for the Iranians back in 2019. He's the one gloating about, yay, Mossad, thanks for being on the ground. You really did your part. This needs to be announced and broadcast everywhere. They're saying they were there. They're admitting to this. So he's covering it all here. He's covering it all.
We all know that Mossad gave a Persian language statement saying that its people are on the ground in Iran. Yep. And when Iran cut off the internet, and I don't have internet either, on Friday night, after Friday, suddenly the riots collapsed. Why? Because it was they were not spontaneous. They were guided and organized from abroad. And when the internet went out, suddenly they went blind. And that's why
the protesters have been given succor from abroad because they think they have help coming. So I want to ask you, if the US attacks Iran, does Iran hit US targets in the Middle East?
No, those protesters that you are talking about, they left the scene on day 1 and 2. During the first couple of days when there were protesters about the fall in the Iranian rial, which was carried out by the United States, and this is all a part of a broader plan. Those protesters, on the first couple of days, there was no violence. There were no arrests.
So if
there were no
the US
police.
attacks,
there was no police involvement.
If the US attacks Iran, does Iran strike US targets in the Middle East?
So after, as I was saying, day 2, when the violent rioters entered and they started destroying ambulances and public buses and banks and clinics and destroying fire engines, that's when the protesters stepped aside and it became riot. And you call those protesters peaceful protesters who murdered 100 police officers and many, many other innocent people.
Can you answer my question about if the US attacks Iran, how does Iran respond? Will it hit US targets in the Middle East?
If the United States attacks Iran, without a doubt, Iran will strike back very hard. And remember what happened during the 12-day war. Go look at the footage from Tel Aviv and other Israeli cities. And as Steve Bannon himself said the day after the war, the real story of the 12-day war was that the Israeli regime during the last 2-3 days was hit so hard that they were seeking a ceasefire, not Iran.
Well, I mean, that's propaganda in your book, as you describe it. Just finally,
go and look at Steve Bannon's interview. It was broadcast online. It's not mine.
Okay,
Steve
just
Bannon
finally,
is no
just finally.
Yeah, she's like, let's change the subject. I'm just gonna make up some more shit, but let's change the subject after I just make up shit. He's citing actual things. Everything he's citing checks out. It all has timestamp. He's also making everything she does. It's nowhere to be found. It's top down orders, random names, just ideas. And by the way, that question, let's just be clear. That question about will they strike the U.S. Notice how he said he didn't even mention the U.S. because Israel's behind this entire thing. And that's that. So you're going to go after Tel Aviv. And I think it is important to bring up the 12-day war and what did happen. It's the only time anybody ever was able to make people in Israel squirm, like for real squirm. They started figuring out, where can we go? We got to get out of here. For the first time, after mowing down hundreds of thousands of people in Gaza, all of a sudden, for the first time, they were actually afraid. As they should be. You can't just keep going around murdering people, all your neighbors, occupying all your neighbors without any sort of pushback. Iran has the capability to do that. That's what he's saying. Forget U.S. targets. Israel should be concerned if Israel and the U.S. hit Iran. They should be absolutely concerned. So I'm glad he's ending with that. Let's see. I think this is the tail end here.
Ayatollah Khamenei, he's an old man. It's been widely reported that he may be looking to go into exile. Would you see that as a defeat?
Well, you're just making stuff up. He's not going anywhere. And your government and the U.S. government, if they get involved in a war with Iran, global economy will go downhill and collapse.
Professor.
And your people will come after you and say, why did you do this to us?
Professor Mohammed Marandi, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Excellent use of, I guess it was about 10 minutes. What a great, and then we talk about this, having this moment that you can utilize and just be ready to go one-on-one with somebody like that, who she only let him do this because she had the ego to think she could win that fight. She lost big time. Every single thing she tried to do, he countered her, and personally let people know that she was deliberately lying, not confused, not sloppy, but literally lying on purpose with the intention of confusing her audience. And what he said, pushing the war agenda of U.S. and Israel war machine. That's what that is. And that's her job. She's not a newscaster. She's a propagandist. The only news we got there was from the professor, Marandi, who held his ground, held his own. And that's why we're giving the professor loudest voice of the week. And as Irv Green said at the end here, yep, she got mopped. Okay. I think that should do it for today's show. Yep, she's a liberal soccer mom's idea of a good journalist. Very cool. Thank you for that, Toffee Dog. Let's see. Yes, and we did have some. I appreciate the super chats that came in during that segment, as well as we had a Rumble rant, which I think Leslie put up because we can't share the Rumble rant from the actual screen, but that was really cool. There it is. Really appreciate it. Ajarfari, Glenn Greenwald has remarked a few times that people in media get promoted based on their willingness to lie for the government. That's absolutely true. And Glenn Greenwald is obviously on the right side of things, and we appreciate his consistency at calling out the BS media that we don't participate in. We are in the business of actual journalism. Glenn Greenwald is in the business of actual journalism. And that's why he's best to be able to call BS when he sees it, because he's the one that turned down those jobs. People like Garland Nixon turned down, doesn't go back, doesn't go on Fox News anymore, doesn't go on CNN and MSNBC. They say, no, we don't do that anymore. We do real journalism, which has integrity, and we actually want to give you guys the actual truth. So it's nice to be in the conversation with these guys. Appreciate that. And yeah, I didn't actually. I should have read this other one. Yeah, we had we already put it up there. But thank you, Deep Green. Yeah, Professor Marandi is cooking her with the truth. Exactly. Thank you so much for the super chats. And if you guys want to throw anything else up there before we end, really appreciate it. And we will be back next week. Again, I told you guys we did need to do the countdown. We didn't get to it this week, but we will do the loudest voice of the year countdown. Always good to reflect on where we came from and these moments of inspiration. We hope they inspire other moments of inspiration. And it's contagious that way. We like that. We like that. Courage is contagious. Ooh, I like that. Courage is contagious. Huh. Maybe something there. There might be something there. Let me think. Let me marinate on that. Courage is contagious. I think it just came to me. I don't think I got that from anywhere else. That might have just been a spur of the moment thing just now. Okay. Think about it. What does that mean? Courage is contagious. It means the more we represent doing things with a moral compass and be consistent with it, the more we represent that, we can be loud about it. We don't have to walk anything back. We can stand behind our convictions. You can always be the person that you can look back and go, oh, that guy got it right the whole time. You know who doesn't have it right? People who called January 6th protesters insurrectionists and now are saying, wait a minute, why are they calling ICE protesters insurrectionists? That's not fair. Well, you would be right now, but you weren't right before. You see how that works? And Trump is the opposite. He said those cops were shady. The feds had infiltrated J6, and he said that's not cool. You got the Patriots were the ones that showed up. Now he switched. The Patriots are now the ICE agents. You see how that is? So you can call Trump on that, but who's going to have more of a moral compass to stand on? Who's going to have more credibility? Is it going to be Jake Tapper, who says, wait a minute, Trump, you said that those cops they were the ones that were wrong in J6, but now you're on the side of the cops. You can't switch like that. You can't switch like that. Well, Jake Tapper, you also switched. Do you see that? So is that more credible coming from Jake Tapper, or is it more credible coming from somebody who actually was right and consistent both times? That you don't have to play back the tape and go, uh-oh, shoot, I got that wrong. No. People calling out Trump's dementia now, do you think it means anything? Do you think it means anything coming from the left who said that Joe Biden had a stutter for 4 years? It means nothing. We have the opportunity to look at his health. I don't know if I would diagnose it as dementia yet, but he certainly has some failing health going. We have credibility to look at that and to be honest about it. Where is he in his deterioration process? Because we were also honest about Joe Biden when he was deteriorating. So you can't just be right one time and think that that's okay. And never mind what I said before. Never mind that I lied and told you Joe Biden had a stutter. You want to be loud about Trump is diminishing now. You have no credibility if you had the opposite take when it was convenient. It was convenient for you to ignore Joe Biden's dementia. It was convenient for you. Now it's convenient to point out Trump's health problems. So we don't need this switcheroo back and forth crap anymore. We're about consistency. We're about principles. So hopefully that becomes contagious. The courage it takes to have principle when it's inconvenient to do so. That's courage. That's principle. To be consistent every time. And we hope that is what we call contagious. So let's try that hashtag, guys. Let's try it. Let's see where that goes. Hashtag courage is contagious. We'll see if there's something there. Maybe there, maybe not. Maybe it's nothing. But it's an idea. It's an idea. Courage is contagious. Okay. I think that should wrap it up today, guys. You guys are gonna love. This is a funny ass outro we got from Max Blumenthal. Funny ass outro. We're gonna play this out. We'll put up a few more comments for you guys. I think we're about to hit the 4-hour mark. Yeah, we always do. This is good. We're keeping it right at the 4. We're keeping it right at the 4. Okay, we're closing it out. I want to thank all you guys tuning in today on all our channels. Our moderators, Bonzo Beans, Leslie was awesome. Thanks for coming on, Nurse Leslie, for the talking back, and to Jay Scott, of course, he did a double this week for us. We appreciate it. Everybody helping out while Craig's been gone. Craig Pasta Jardula will be back. We hope he comes on with us Tuesday. We can hear what's been going on. We know it's been hard times for people, and we're there to support. And we know Craig is there for his friends as well and support family and friends that are going through some hard times right now. That's how we have to be. We have to help each other, support each other. And like I said, tomorrow, fundraiser, we got to keep TLAV alive. The Last America Vagabond. Check them out. Ryan, Christian, Derek Bros. They're going to be on all day tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific. I'll be popping in to saying hi with them that first hour or the second hour. So I don't know when I'll come in at some point. And then Garland Nixon at 1:30 Pacific tomorrow as well. We'll see you guys next week. We hope to have Jose Vega too. We can reschedule that discussion with him and maybe have Pasta part of that as well. So that'll be fun. Okay, that should do it. On the outro, it's Max Blumenthal calls this guy. We're just getting to know him. This is a dude out in, I assume he's in Tel Aviv. I don't know where he is. Persian dude, appearing on I-24 network. Max Blumenthal calls him the Persian Ben Shapiro. Pretty funny. Listen to this guy. He's quite entertaining. He definitely has that evil, maniacal voice and characteristics. Very familiar of Ben Shapiro. So that'll be it for today. Remember, when you go out there, we're talking about having courage, conviction, and principle. I'm Matt Weinglass, Homeless Left, non-tribal approach to news. We'll see you guys next week. Power to the people and free Palestine. We're out.
Living in the West, hating the guts of Western civilization, and preferring to side with a genocidal terrorist organization like Hamas. These lunatics for 2 years were on the streets repeating talking points of a terrorist organization that killed innocent Israelis, raped women, killed children. They were on the streets chanting Hamas slogans. They were chanting in favor of erasing Israel off the face of the earth. They were chanting what the Islamic Republic has been calling for. Where are these lunatics? Where are these useful idiots? What are they doing right now? Where innocent Iranians are sacrificing their lives for liberty. Where are they? Innocent Iranians with empty hands, facing guns and bullets. And these lunatics are sitting silent in the West. They are doing nothing because they are nothing. They have done nothing in their lives. They are spoiled brats who live in freedom, in prosperity, and don't know what they even have.